chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Vale.
¿Sí? ¿Te atreverías?
Ahí está. ¡Bemba! ¡Es original! ¡Kimba! Ella va a bailar. ¿Quieres de mí? Origini. Todo para ti. ¡Hey, baby! Original y originini. Yo no tengo un cromo de panini. Si viene el Kimba lo reventó con el fucking altavoz. Y bien ocurreniga, estoy con el chico para soltarlo bien tranquilito. Es el Kimana, el Kimaneto, porque tiene el ritmo y esqueleto. No vi, ella no vio nada. Cuando suelto ritmo parece en la bocanada. No soy un dragón, pero suelto llamaradas. No soy un cabrón, pero sueno que te cagas. Original y parecen bandadas de cuervos volando que viene a matar. Si quieres algo del Magneto, siempre ves buscando un ritmo. Es original, siempre suena fresco. Lo mejor me lo merezco. No tenemos parentesco con glazos de parece popescu. ¡Ey! Original, el maneta ha llegado pa' soltar los ritmos sentados. Si quieres algo bueno, pues yo vengo de un pasado. Desde lejos, hace tiempo, no soy viejo. Estoy atento, estoy contento. El entrecejo, no lo ves, escondí hace tiempo. Original representa hace radio, el Netflix de Europa. Pa' venir a reventar todos los escenarios y llevarme la copa.
Un aplauso, vamos. De Easy, hacerme algo ya para culminar.
Hostia puta, tío, qué bueno.
¿Te dejo ahí mismo ese? ¿O te pongo otro?
Pónmelo del principio, va.
¿El principio, este mismo? ¿O te pongo otro?
Esto está bien.
¿Este está bien? Vale. Desde el principio, entonces. Ahí va, atención.
Estamos en Nazi Radio International Real.
Original.
Hemos vuelto a la casa del Real Netflix de Europa. Bombo claro, dice. Don't stop, everybody don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Hey, sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi cruz, solo tú, dan mi luz. Hey, sing it, badu. Don't stop, everybody don't stop. Llegó el general para prender el club. Sing it, boy, then yabadabadu. Con mi cruz, solo tú, dan mi luz. Everything come through. Ooh, girl, think you better. I think you clever. Hey, stay, my fucking on nigga. Hey, girl, think you better. I sing along, my brother. Everybody come on, nego, hace radio, está fresco. Dice, mueve el cadera, mueve tremendo. Suena perfecto, filo becar. Suena perfecto, viene el del ritmo del ghetto. Banda fuck internacional. Hey, nego, the fama, no really nobody. Se mueve el estilo, suena fenomenal. Suena bien guapo que viene los ritmos. En radio siempre suena fenomenal. Mueve cadera, mueve tremenda. Ese Neto, el rey de la fiesta. Suena guapo, te lo digo, sacaría, así que dale, on the freak, pum, nego.
Viven huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it that's so real. Lo was man, never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para fabono. Tú podrás por mierda traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo sangre si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia, 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 Magna Boys son familia, ya no maniga.
هوا ديالي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هلي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر ليا ولا دراري هوا ديالي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هلي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر ليا ولا دراري Tuve un sueño donde no había amor se perdía el color de una flor se marchaba lentamente con el sol en el horizonte pude hacer algo para calmar en mi dolor y es por eso que le pongo flow viviendo alto siempre Burruco bimba y es que todo por la familia Burruco bimba y es por eso vengo a bendecir Burruco bimba y es que todo por la familia Burruco bimba y es por eso vengo a bendecir
Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia. Familia, familia, Magna Boys son familia, ya no maniga.
Magna super slalom, subiendo a nuevo escalón. Metallic in the salon, esquivo like Sir Stallone. Esos tweets van del palo, pero bitch no rascan balón. Aunque me enrollo nada, cáñamo, nunca me paro. Aunque van tras de mí, no se pueden medir. Buscan el elixir, está metalizado. Y es que yo soy así, no van a descubrir sexy flow y skill con este descaro. Si familia necesita de ti, fíjalo. Burruco Connection, Antarctic Field, dígalo. A mí nadie area de Paris, día yo. Los magnetes han llegado, están aquí, víalo. Para soportar el dolor como no imaginas es la vida en ámbar. Aunque creas que no puedes tú solo con la movida, yo llevaré tus bambas. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia, it's original, man. Familia, familia, fighting the hate and the media. Familia, familia, yo soy un rocket, ellos abrilia. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el pito para que no se caiga. Son los Magna de Boss Final. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el pito para que no se caiga. Son los Magna de Boss Final. Dispara millas sin mirar y sin mirar sin asimilar que es la puta herida de tu vida hurgo. Los manas te la chatarrilla hacen pa' pillar piltrafillas. Tres no nos pilla y se va con la furgo. Te hará falta una pedicura y una cura si se apura. Quizás llega la locura de mi turbo. Dale vueltas a las partículas, deja ya la mandíbula quieta que sola llega a Luxemburgo.
Niño que para la compota que la pera pata.
Pero vinimos a mejorarla.
Pa' hablar por mi familia y tengo autoridad.
Saben que no puedo cagarla.
Y poner ritmo y los manos les tocan cuatro patas. ¿Quieres esa vaina va a probarla? Todo aquel en el party donde se gata. What the fuck, what the girl, what an alma. Viven huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it that's so real. Lo es man, never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre para fabono. Tú podrás por mierda traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo sangre si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rastafarian familia. Familia, familia, Magna Boys son familia, ya no maniga.
Bombo cry,
them, fire them. A girl stop, shut up on the microphone ballad. And the smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clad. Bang bang in the street, fire burn it, fill it with. Rasta man, I want Illuminati, play the kill. Stop, shut up on the microphone ballad. And the smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clad. Bang bang in the street, fire burn it, fill it with. Key Cray is a king, Magnus thing. Nobody, no kill them. In a creepy style. Chale, no fire them. It's a Rasta ganja. Nobody, no kill them. It's a crispy style. Tally, no fire cream. It's a Rasta ganja. Familiar, Rasta chai is familiar. Key Cray is familiar. Familiar, pure nego is familiar. Familia, Sico, Key Magneto, familia. Familia, es el que está a la mínima. Familia, compactar más cristaleras. Familia, Rasta y Zion, familia. Magna boy que doblaste manego.
Viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
All right. Here we go. What up, brother? Good to have you. Man, do I got something interesting for you today? Do I have something interesting for you today, bro? I think that we're in a time where we can fully understand and completely comprehend why the blatant racism should not be surprising anymore. You know what I mean? Like, since I started this channel in 2022, I kept telling you, bro, they're going to turn on you. Watch and see. These are not your people. And I was in watching the live earlier. The whole live. I was watching Sonny's live. Streets Ain't Loyal, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, big brother. And, you know, man, I just wanted to pay attention to the gente, bro. Like, just, you know, they were just posting and making comments, and he was reading them. And all I'm trying to do is just get an idea of what our people are about, you know, like, and we're all there chopping it up, man, posting and shit. And, you know, it was good. One thing that I noticed that they said kind of halfway, almost to the end, maybe about 75% through the video, through the live, brother started saying unity. I think FBA tried to step in a couple times and shit. Fuck that. They found out that today was not the day. Hopefully I'll be able to go on his live so we can do like a short, you know, mini presentation and just kind of get historical. You know what I'm saying? To go through the actual facts and it's to be, with regards to who we are the folklore that belongs to us, the connection about who we are with not only just the creation of, like the book that was about the creation, but the fact that we're all over that book. And I think people are starting to realize why these hater reels are just really just envying our people. So let's begin. Sister, appreciate you for sending me this message. And this just comes to show, fam, that Trump did all of us a favor. Trompetas did us a favor. It exposed the people. It exposed people. It exposed how people truly feel. It exposed how people really are about. You know, like your neighbor, hi, how you doing? And then they're like, yeah, I can't wait for you to get deported. Just because of the way you look. It don't matter even if you're legal or not. And that's the sad part. This is why I call the topic what it is. Scammers, alert, frauds. Because they come in all shapes and forms and shit. Now let's get a good idea of what Trump did. So for all you so-called West African Americans that claim that you need reparations and that you fucking hate the fact that the white man treated you like shit, I'm going to say to you, fuck you, like that. Do I know why? Because we're getting a good example of like, that's been a lie the entire time. This is why you feel the way you feel. Because this is the spirit that you showed up with since 1492. You had access to have slaves. You had slaves, just like the white man. And you sound like a typical fucking Negro slaver. Just like the white man. Watch.
It don't matter, fucking bitch. You ain't running them fucking thing around here, ho. All these fucking illegal ass immigrants in this motherfucker, and I gotta stand outside for illegals? Fuck you, white bitch. I hate you, illegal immigrant motherfuckers, and I hope ICE gets you bitches. Take you back to those shitholes. And I'm gonna see you again, my nigga. For shit show, you hear me? I'm gonna make sure you mind your fucking business. Bunch of fucking illegal immigrants, and a bitch don't tell me to step outside, ho. You motherfuckers.
That's FBA for you right there, fam. There you go right there. There's a good example of what the fuck it is about. Let's hear it again because I think the people in the back didn't hear very clearly. You know, that's the thing about this channel, man. Like, I bring raw material and apparently they don't like that shit. Sometimes I think you guys are too emotional, bro. Care for your people. Don't just care for people. Care for your people. Don't just care for people. Nah, man. What the fuck? Since 1492, these guys fought for the Confederacy in 1865. Negroes had slaves since they came here. Are you guys fucking not aware of this shit? Hey, look, listen. I'll put the link up in case somebody gets offended. Because today is kind of like a little froggy day for me, bro. Y'all really ready to get it? Let's go do it. Come on. Because it's about time, fam. It's about time that maybe some of you FBAs or whatever the fuck you are, step up to the plate and fucking defend yourselves. Negro slavery was a real fucking thing. And this is what we're going to continue with the videos today. I'm going to show you a lot of examples of what it is that we're dealing with and then why they want your history. They're finding out that their shit is so stale that it's so irrelevant. Just like the Willie Lynch letter. That shit was never mailed. That shit was a lie. It was propagandized by West African Americans and funded by Ashkenazis, so-called self-proclaimed Jews. That's a fact, Jack.
It don't matter, fucking bitch. You ain't running them fucking thing around here, ho. All these fucking illegal ass immigrants in this motherfucker, and I gotta stand outside for illegals? Fuck you, white bitch. I hate you, illegal immigrant motherfuckers, and I hope ICE gets you bitches. Take you back to those shitholes.
Take you back to those shitholes. As if they didn't come from the shitholes. Hey, listen. I don't mind. I don't mind the hate. Because the struggle is real. Somebody has to mention it. You know what I'm saying? Or you guys are just going to ignore it and shit? Let it be ignored? Fuck no, bro.
And I'm going to see you again, my nigga. For shit show, you hear me? I'm going to make sure you mind your fucking business. Bunch of fucking illegal immigrants, and the bitch don't tell me to step outside, ho. You motherfuckers.
Yeah. All right, let's continue. I like this brother's channel. Again, he's a native from up north. Well, these lands up north. And in some instances, he said that he don't believe in the Hebrew part. But in other videos, he does say about the creation. And I think in another one, he did talk about how these foreigners stole the book from us, right? And there's material where people were saying it. So it's like, I don't know, maybe we're making a turn. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. But I still appreciate it, bro. Because you know what? This is crazy, bro. Listen to this.
This guy. You try to get in on his lives and talk, talk some sense to this cat. And his moderator's blocking. They don't want niggas on here telling the truth about this dude. Like, I want to meet him in person just one good time and see if he talk all that bullshit.
You see, it always resorts to, I want to meet him in person. And most of you guys don't want to meet people in person. Like, it's easy to say, I want to meet you in person when you're on the phone talking to a fucking screen. But you really don't want to meet people in person, bro. Get what I'm saying? Let's continue.
Into my face, like you do on this goddamn app.
If you start with me, I will. For sure.
Like, he talks more shit than an asshole after Thanksgiving. This punk motherfucker right here. He ain't shit. And everybody that follows him and is all twisted into his mindset, y'all the problem too.
You're the problem, dude.
Jump in this live. His name is Ronald Thompson.
Thompson?
Fake ass Ronald Thompson right there. Look at his little smug ass face. And the nerve to talk, speak on black people. Motherfucker, you was in the same position that we was. Like,
Cap.
There is one thing that I think the brother's off on, because he says, yeah, you guys were enslaved and the whole narrative. Nah, fuck no, bro. These Negroes came with the slavers, man. They helped the Spaniards hold the pendant, and every single time they landed on these islands, they had dogs with them as well. They enslaved our people too. They brought smallpox to our continent. You get what I mean? The narrative has been a lie the entire time. And I still don't have anybody that can say otherwise. I still been blasting people, and they do not even say to me, yo, debate me on my platform. I think Fopi tried to one time. I'm not going to debate that fat ass chick, bro. Trust and believe. If I want to debate Fopi, I want to debate that white boy with a tan. That white boy with a tan with thin lips that claims to be black. I think his name is Quanat. You want to debate? You bring it. Now, you've sent your kids already, bro. They're a waste of time. You say you're the leader. Bring it. But let's continue.
No, we weren't. Buck breaking is the systematic sexual abuse of enslaved men occurred during the same period as breeding farms.
I'm also sharing this video with the buck breaking part is because that was the narrative. History told us supposedly that they went through that shit. We're going to find out. You're going to find out that shit is a lie too.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Fuck that puto! Fuck that puto!
Literally, they asserted dominance over y'all. Here y'all getting trains ran on y'all wearing diapers. They never did this to us.
the only reason why y'all got to the races and we got to the slavery, because y'all niggas made deals with the white folk. We wasn't going. We was fighting. Y'all niggas bitched up like some hoes that y'all are.
Yo, that's so funny. Yo. I got haters, but you know what they say? If you don't got haters, you're not popping. And my mods probably blocked you because you're being disrespectful, excuse me, calling me names and all that. Asian, Siberian, Mexican, white, whatever, right? That's probably why you got muted. And then you're saying we're bitches because we made deals with the white people. No, you're bitches because you didn't do anything for what they did to y'all. Y'all are still in captivity. We made peace treaties with them. Peace treaties, you don't make peace treaties with people you can conquer. You make peace treaties with people you can't beat, dude. Like, you guys still haven't even got your get back or your revenge, but you got all the smoke in the world for a native, right? Don't be mad at me for protecting my culture from culture vultures. You guys aren't indigenous. You guys are going through an identity crisis. You got no smoke for the white people that buck broke y'all, right? Broke y'all in and enslaved y'all for 400 fucking years. Even more than that, you're still a slave. If you're still here, you're still in captivity, right? You still work for white people. You just get paid now.
Look at that picture right there, bro. Mental slavery is worse than physical slavery. But that's not mental slavery, my brother. This is who they are. They've been knowing about Christianity since the get-go. This whole nonsense or whole concept or supposedly that they fit the curses. Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. They always run to the first part of the scripture. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. See, we've been everywhere. But hold on a second. And from one end of the earth even to another. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone. But we know that black folks, West Africans, North Africans, Central and East Africans, have all dealt with Christianity way before 1492. Matter of fact, black people had popes. What are we talking about here? We're just going to like use false information and shit and just that's going to be pleasing for everybody? No, hell no, bro.
That's the only difference, right? So how about you go get some revenge and some get back for what they did and stop being anti-indigenous?
That the Nazis sent a lawyer.
So check this out. This is interesting. And this is why, it goes back to the whole point. Scammers, alert frauds. As if we didn't know this shit. You know what I'm saying? As if we didn't know this shit. Watch this real quick.
Did you know that the Nazis sent a lawyer to the University of Arkansas in the 1930s to study Jim Crow laws, to study our segregation, to take that back to Germany, to create things like the Nuremberg laws? There's really no reason to talk about the 1930s in Germany when making references to what's going on today, because it all started here. With our laws, with our segregation. Did you know that the Nazis sent
Funny. I find that funny because guess what? This brother actually, and I'll call him a brother, man, because you know what? There's nothing like respecting people's situation without trying to steal their shit. You know what I'm saying? I would have done the same for y'all, but nah, bro, y'all are haters. So now let's study a little bit of this legendary, research of how to oppress people. What better way to oppress people than to learn from the people that have been already practicing it? And see, this is the thing that a lot of our people, that a lot of our gente does not understand or even know about. You guys think that like it was all about deportation? Fuck no, bro. They were doing this shit to our people way before they went to Germany to implement that fucking stuff. Every Mexican raza, every raza that's from Mexico knows this for a fact. We use what they used to call DDT, DDT, to kill like roaches and shit. Okay. Well, this is the chemical that they use. Remember what she said? Hold on. Let me remind you real quick, because it's really short. Okay. This is why they don't even know this happened to us, bro. Like typical white people, they're gonna be like, oh, poor blacks, segregation. Fuck you. You don't even know that we've never left. Both of y'all showed up, man, since 1490 fucking 2. It almost seems like you just don't understand what's going on to our life, do you? Okay.
Did you know that the Nazis sent a lawyer to the University of Arkansas in the 1930s to study Jim Crow laws, to study our segregation, to take that back to Germany, to create things like the Nuremberg laws? There's really no reason to talk about the 1930s in Germany when making references to what's going on today, because it all started here, with our laws, with our segregation.
Glass, you made a great point, because what it's telling you is that you guys had been surrounded by Nazis since the get-go. Since the get-go.
Thousands of Mexicans were forced to take baths with gasoline at the U.S. border. The U.S. government forced them to strip, be sprayed with gasoline, and have their clothes fumigated for chemicals. The US government said it was supposed to stop disease, but it became a way to humiliate and control brown bodies. Women and men were photographed. Some even died in the process of fumigation and being sprayed with kerosene and gasoline. But women began saying no. They refused the bath. But when Border Patrol agents began to force them, riots broke out, and the bridge between El Paso and Ciudad Juarez was shut down. And for 3 days, mostly women and men threw rocks, flipped trolleys, but most of all, demanded dignity. Soldiers eventually crushed the protest. The baths didn't end. Unfortunately, they continued for several decades after that.
They continued for decades after that. 10, 20, 30 years after that. From 1917 through 1927 to 1937 and 1947. That's why they had the whole concept of eugenics. Do you understand that? They would inject our women in order for them not to procreate. But I bet a lot of you guys didn't know this, did you? Let's continue.
Even inspired the same chemical methods that were used by the Nazis in Germany. This was more than a protest. It was a warning of what happens when fear turns into policy.
Did you know that the Nazis sent a lawyer to the University of Arkansas in the 1930s to study Jim Crow laws, to study our segregation, to take that back to Germany, to create things like the Nuremberg laws? There's really no reason to talk about the 1930s in Germany when making references to what's going on today, because it all started here, with our laws, with our segregation.
No different. Just eat them, eat them. Dirty bastards. And now, hold on, we're moving on. Again, we're talking about scammers, cronies and shit, you know? Haters of people. Here we go.
Demonic, okay? This is demonic. I'm just trying to repent to the Lord already. My uncle had me out here on this pyramid tour over here in Mexico, and they got these strange sounding instruments, and they worshiping rain gods, and then they talking about worshiping rain gods, and then it starts to rain as they're talking about worshiping the rain god, and then they're saying that they voluntarily sacrifice themselves for these different types of gods and what they mean, and they got oval-shaped heads, and just pray for me, because this is demonic. It's nice though, but just pray for me, please. Amen.
Just like the colonizers, huh? Calling us demonic and all that. It's because those aren't your ancestors, lady. And then at the end you said amen. You know, you're saying Amen, Ra, which was a sun god. That lady just proved that black people are not the Mayans. Because if you guys were the Mayans, you would have felt connected to all that. You wouldn't be calling it demonic. But yeah, if you're a Christian, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was tricking Christians into thinking he was God.
Seriously? Really? You're going to summarize this? Oh my God, bro. Why the fuck are you even there? It's like me going to Africa and just saying, fuck, it stinks over here. Look at these fucking dirty people. Oh my God, look at they worship. This is so horrible. This is not the only criticism, family. If she had the audacity, their favorite word, audacity, to criticize something so fucking basic, and she said like, whoa, they were praying and it started raining. Well, maybe you should be mindful of what the fuck that means. But no, typical racist ass West African Canaanites. They want to fucking turn it into some evil, wicked shit. And like the brother said, so if you guys are really those original people, how come you didn't connect to that shit? Man-looking woman with gray hair? How come you didn't connect to that? Man-looking woman with gray hair? I mean, you guys are exposing yourselves. The hatred, the envy, bro. Like straight up. That was not the only, issue with. I guarantee you, bro, she was criticizing everything that she was watching. Why? Because she's probably FBA, and that's what they taught y'all, to go fucking insane. I call that word confabulation. You know, like Trump says, I created the word confabulation. No one's ever heard of that word. It's the greatest word in the entire world. Confabulation. Listen to this shit.
We all got kicked out of interplanetary travel because we ate one of the Nomo. In the Zulu creation as told by Credo Mutwa in the Song of the
Now they want to create this fucking Baal. Oh my God. It's like you're literally admitting that you're Canaan, the worshipers of demons. But then you want to, no, he wasn't. He was an alien. Oh, and then they're going to use our history. Watch, you'll see. Hold on, let me say what's up. What's up, bro? Good to have you, bro. Gang. We was gangs. 78, 80, 70, 84, and then the circumspect. What up? Sir. I'm sorry, sir. Sir, that's right, sir. Let's go.
Zulu creation as told by Credo Mutwa in the Song of the Stars, we almost blew up our original planet Mars and then fled to live with the Nomo in the Sirius star system. Once over there, we lived there for quite some time until we ate one of the Nomo, like I said, which after that they saw us as evil, which I don't blame them.
All right, I heard enough.
And then
So I think that's so cool that a Black American knows where they come from and they're sharing their story. And it actually makes a lot of sense that they came from Mars, because on Mars, their ozone layer is thinner, so the UV rays are way more intense. So on Mars, you would need to be that dark. You would need harsh melanin to combat the harsh UV radiation.
Listen, family, I'm pretty fucking naive about sarcasm. I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not, you know, but I was like, let me show it to you, because I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you may be from Mars. The UV. They're not. They're fucking white people with tans, bro. You know what I mean? Most of them are fucking white people. That's what it is. Look at Bob Marley, bro. Look at his whole lineage of men that he's had. They're all white, but they have braids. Or dookie braids or whatever fucking braids. You know what I'm saying? Still calling themselves black, even though they're not. It's from their daddy's side. By the way, just to let y'all know, if you think that you're Mexica indigenous because your mama is Mexica indigenous, but your daddy is Ashkenazi or a white guy or a black guy or an Asian guy or Arab guy, no, it don't work like that. Science in the Bible says that you are of your father. So if your father is a ashy Nazi, then that's what you are. It don't matter if your mom is Mexican. If your dad is a white guy or a black guy or an Asian guy, that's what you are. It don't matter if your mama is Mexican or Mexica. It don't matter if she's indigenous. It does not matter. You are of your father. We need to start really reminding our people exactly that right there, because there's some fucking people that think they're cholos and shit, even on that side, and their daddy's white. I mean, make it make sense, bro.
And that makes perfect, total sense for, like, why you guys look like that, because the original humans weren't black. The original humans were red. Also, they said that they were deemed evil because they ate one of the Nagas, or one of the Nomos, what they call them. So they said that they were deemed evil, and the mark of the beast signifies evil and allegiance to evil forces, right? So the mark of the beast is woolly hair. Woolly mammoth is a beast. He has woolly hair. And animals in general are just considered beasts. But here's some of the beasts that have woolly hair or woolly fur, right? And the mark of the beast makes sense too, because black people have woolly hair. And the
So you know what I'm saying? He's kind of touching the Bible and shit a little bit. So you know what I mean? I don't want to take that away from him. Appreciate you, brother. Now, I posted something here earlier. Hold on a second here. I went here. And where you at? They took it away? What? No way. Shut up. They took it away? How the fuck did they take? This post is no longer available. Wow. Interesting, because a brother earlier posted this from our side. This is weird. I have to look this up, fam. I didn't know that they took the post away. YouTube took the post away. I think maybe American Cholo complained about me. Really? Really, bro? Did you really complain about me, man? This post is no longer available. I'm going to have to look at my emails to find out why my post is not there anymore. As you can see, I invited VTC on this particular post, but it's not there anymore. Interesting. Interesting, isn't it? Wait, hold on a second. What did I do with this here? Hold on a second, fam. Let me go back. Ooh.
I just want to genuinely.
The reason why I posted this question was to, that Honduran guy with an accent. I asked and said, hey, man, is this what you voted for, this corruption? Correct? This is what you voted for?
Really say thank you to Joe Rogan, to Theo Vaughn, to Andrew Schultz for using.
Wait, hold on a second. The account got banned. That's his other account, probably exposed too much. What do you mean? Whose account got banned? VTC's or what do you call it? El Chaparrito from Honduras? Because I posted it independently, and then I did a community post with VTC. Damn, they really did that shit? Whoa, that's crazy. So then now maybe he is getting paid by fucking Israeli Mossad and shit.
I just want to genuinely say thank you to Joe Rogan, to Theo Vaughn, to Andrew Schultz for using.
This goes to you, American Cholo, Hoodstock, and all you fucking dumbass, ignorant bastards and shit. Nino, brown ass, darky duckety dark. Wearing the red hat like a bitch. Now all of a sudden, now you guys are like, well, maybe that guy isn't. Nah, Nino ain't regretting it. The darky duckety dark, he ain't regretting it. You know what I'm saying? He's a Canaanite, bro. He's typical. He hates us and shit. He ain't no raza. He's a Canaanite. That's what he is. You can see it right there in his spirit, in his skin, in his hair, all of it, bro. He did not regret it, but the other guys did. They're like, oh man, I didn't vote. I didn't vote for this. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you did. Trump was saying, bro, biggest deportation since Eisenhower. Biggest deportation since Eisenhower. Biggest deportation. I mean, shit, man. That was wetback operation. Did you guys not look into it? Did not realize that he was saying biggest deportation since wetback operation? Trump could have just said that. He would have gotten away with it. I'm telling you, he would have still won. Because they're that hateful. Biggest deportation since wetback operation. That's like a rhyme song, bro. I'm gonna make a song out of that shit. Biggest deportation since gang. Hold on. Biggest deportation since wetback operation. There you go. All right, let's go.
I just want to genuinely say thank you to Joe Rogan, to Theo Vaughn, to Andrew Schultz for using your platform to ensure that we, the American people, were protected against violent criminals, for helping elect Donald Trump, who was going to and continues to protect us against violent criminals. If you didn't see, on Tuesday, this violent criminal was detained outside of Minneapolis. This violent criminal's name is Liam Ramos. He's 5 years old. In his cubby, while he was being detained, was a toy turtle, a blanket, and a worksheet that was used to help him outline the letter W as he learns to read and write. His father and him entered the U.S. through a legal asylum entry point. They did it the right way. And now him and his father are detained and likely being sent somewhere in Texas. His older brother came home to find Liam missing. So we, the American people, we just want to say thank you, Joe Rogan. Thank you, Andrew Schultz.
Thank you, American Cholo. Thank you, Hoodstock. Thank you to all you haters, 44, whatever, voto, wato, whatever. All of you punk motherfuckers, bro. I bet you anything that if you guys invited me to your channel, or let's say we linked up, I would totally debate and thrash, completely embarrass y'all with the fucking knowledge that you used to vote for this person. What conclusions did you come with that said, oh, you know what? I mean, it's not like Kamala did any better. I get it. But did you not know that he wasn't really going to clean shit up? I mean, did you not see the racism about him, bro? Since 2016. You guys are not little kids, bro. Y'all grown-ups. You guys are adults. You didn't see what he was talking about in 2016? You mean you just found out in 2024?
Thank you, Theo Vaughn, for the work that you did to get us here, for the work that you did to ensure that Liam is now being sent to Texas and that we are protected from his crime and his criminal behavior. Liam, his family, his brother, his father.
Listen, family, by them arresting our children, bro, they're literally calming the waves before they start shooting our children and starving our children. This is our Israeli IPAC funded shit. The same thing that they've been doing to the Gaza, to Palestinians. They're prepping people, if this continues, to do it to you. And you guys are not seeing it. Glass is like fucking blind. Oh, I'm cool. I talked to a brother earlier today, and he said, man, all of those motherfuckers that sold out, that, you know, took the green on and shit, and took the money and shit, and going around and arresting people, they should be deleted. But without anybody knowing, like just... So he's like, where are these fucking homeboys at? They're supposed to be protecting the streets and shit. Where the fuck are you guys at? Well, these crazy killers. Hey, where you guys at, bro? All of a sudden now you get scared, bro. These people put fear in y'all. So you ain't that tough. You were tough with the gente in the hood. The ones that, you know, didn't have like 6 of you motherfuckers. The ones that didn't have a gun when you were trying to rob them in the hood. Where's your Billy badasses now? Fuck faces. Where the fuck are you, homeboys? What the fuck, bruh? They're like, what's going on? Oh, that's right. It's not your prerogative, right? That's not the point. It's not about your hood. It's not about protecting your neighborhood. Really. Fuck, man. I mean, where are we gonna end up in? Eventually. Now, remember, I told you that I have something to show you. You're going to find out how, you know, misinformation is false. It's literally can be twisted and turned into something that could be real. Matter of fact, they'll even make a movie about it. And yet it's a whole entire lie.
All right, check this out, fam. I'm still with a cold, so this is actually for those brothers or sisters that are new to this channel. Let me read this to you. I'm going to play a short video, and then I'm going to play the actual class. This is from a book called by Brian Madden, The Way It Should Be Taught, The True History of Blacks in America, 1492-1700. Today is February 18, 2014, okay? I'm sorry, February 18, 2024, my bad. It's 2:14 my time. It reads on page 11. The Islamic Moors also expanded and created societies in southern Europe. Actually, no. Of course, you have to look at the type of environment of the times. The Moors, like every culture of the day, in parentheses it says, including the Native Americans, considered slavery as the institution that provided bodies for work, which was the opportunity of circumstances, not as it was believed later on here in America, as unnatural and unhuman or based on one's skin color, meaning that they were doing this from the get-go. Slavery isn't new to black or white folks. As time went on, as Africans were brought to the Iberian Peninsula and worked as slaves and occupations of servitude by the native Spanish and the Islamic Moors, their offspring, pay attention, because this relates to my class about the sheep hear my voice. It says here, their offspring, interracially mixed with Spanish blood, began to increase in population. The local inhabitants of the area of Spain and Portugal termed this new younger population called Ladinos, like Latinos, but Ladinos. Simply put, there were considered Africanized Latinos who then served with their communities as soldiers, sailors, explorers, black conquistadors, and voluntary or involuntary colonists in the New World. Voluntary colonists. Now, in case you guys don't know this, but AMLO Obrador, he wrote a book called Gracias, and in that book, he calls out that lady that's running for presidency. She says that she tries to be a native, but that her descendants are Ladinos. Okay? Now, that's a very important point because that has to do with this here. So let me play this. You guys heard of this. Well, we have showed you some channels of some classes on this. This guy here did something real quick. It's 5 minutes. Then I'm going to jump into class because it connects. It's all connecting, family. All right, so let's listen in to this. Let's listen in.
The whole world must see that Israel must exist and has the right to exist and is one of the great outposts of democracy in the world.
My Jewish brothers and sisters said to me amid anti-Semitism anywhere, and we don't need
your support, I would still take a stand against anti-Semitism because it's wrong, it's unjust, and it's evil.
I'm not here because I'm your mayor. I've been in Israel as a state senator. I protected the community of this city in general, but specifically the Jewish community as a police officer. I stood with you as borough president. And now I'm here today to say not only am I the chief executive of this city, but I'm your brother. I'm your brother. Your fight is my fight. That swastika not only displays the pain of anti-Semitism, it displays the pain of racism among African Americans. You marched with us with Dr. King. You stood with us with all the fights we have. And I'm saying we're going to stand with you and stay united together. And we don't have to be all right. We should be angry at what we saw. Thank you, Israel.
And I must say that I am indebted to the legacy of Dr. King and the work of the King Center. There I learned about how Black Americans and Jewish Americans and people of many faiths linked arms together, went to jail together, sacrificed their lives together, and achieved historic victories together for civil rights.
I went on to Amazon Prime. I was like, you know what, let me see if there are any documentaries on Yahweh. So went in the search bar, typed in Yahweh, that came up. Went out and shared it on my platform. That was my night.
My journey's not going to stop whether the person watching this forgives me or not. I'm still going to, hopefully, through this process, be on the right side of history and bring people closer together.
The Black Jewish Entertainment Alliance aims to combat racism and anti-Semitism through open dialogue and education.
So, it's most of the hate against Black and Jewish people is from white supremacists.
We don't have a Jewish problem. Our problem is not religion. And that's my answer. I've answered that many times in many interviews. White supremacists will try to get you to deflect away from white supremacy and start talking about Jews did this, it's really Jewish supremacy, it's that, it's this. So the thing is, our problem is systematic white supremacy. It's not Jewish supremacy, it's not the Illuminati and all that.
Very tragic and sad, and Moses married a Black woman. Sephora was darker, so yeah, we have these traditions from a very long time ago.
And I think
You see, you see this shit? Yeah, we have traditions from like a very long time ago. Hold on, let me remind y'all, ashy Nazi, fucking fake self-proclaimed Jews. You guys are not the people of the Bible. But you know what? The scriptures talk about in the New Testament. It does say 2 times in 2 different chapters, one right after the other, in an exact same verse. Revelations chapter 2 verse 9, and then Revelation chapter 3 verse 9. Like, it's not talking about the same people, but we're getting a very good idea of who the fuck they're talking about. Every 2 years you get slavery movie, every 2 years you get some Nazi Holocaust and bullshit, right? Did you know that it was our gente that was thrown overboard in ships when they were being like transported as slaves from here to the other continents? Did you guys know that it was our gente going through that? Did anybody make a movie about that? Did you guys ever see any Mexicans jumping off fucking ships being thrown overboard? No, all you see was people like the guy on the right side, even though they owned slaves since 1492 and fought for the Confederacy to keep fucking slaves, to keep being a Negro slaver. Now all of a sudden, people forgetting? Fuck that shit, bro. You're not going to rewrite history to us.
I love that about Black men. Black men don't seem to have these standards of women have to be this skinny and, who the hell do these white men think they are anyway? So you know what, white women? You get to a certain age, go after a Black guy.
That's the answer to your problem.
That's the answer. You know what? Forget about these white men. You know what? They don't appreciate you the way you are. Go after a Black man. They're a lot more loving.
There is a growing effort in Detroit to bring these groups closer together.
We met at a 100-year-old former synagogue turned Black church.
So this building is the intersection between Detroit's Jewish community and Black community, right?
We are very much alike, and the division that is trying to be created is not cool. And we need to be working together. We need to be learning from each other. We need to be sharing experiences. That is so important. Do your research. I study so many different types of religion. Judaism resonated with me the most. Everyone is included. I get really emotional about it because it's where my soul feels the happiest.
Matrilineally, Bob's grandmother, Ellen Bloomfield, was a Syrian Jew. I have this from Norville's side of the family. It's been run by Ziggy and Sedella, the daughter, not the mother. Why would they lie?
We had what has come to be known as the Black Jewish Alliance.
this group of people used the situation in the South to radicalize black people, to turn them into the revolutionary avant-garde that was intended to overthrow the government of the United States. Culmination of this was the Civil Rights Movement. The government got involved and began funding violent groups. Sergeant Shriver, head of one of the government offices of the War on Poverty, gave $1 million to a gang in Chicago known as the Blackstone Rangers. What you have is the rise of this revolutionary spirit among the black groups spread out throughout the black community. 67, Harold Cruz, a professor of black studies at the University of Michigan, writes a book called The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual, in which he recounts his experience as a communist in Harlem. And he says basically the Jews used us.
So you got a point. All we revealed, you don't have to agree with him. You know, he's brought and exposed that aspect of them. He was even surprised. I guess he's from Europe. You know, he is because of his accent. He was surprised that the so-called Africans with the American experience here, that they had such a thing as access to Freemasonry or the Boulets or anything like that. You see, even us, we were not aware of any of that, but apparently so-called black folks did. So that's why I wanted to show that video, because it's going to connect with this Willie Lynch letter that never was mailed. The Willie Lynch is a lie. And then I'm going to show you a book that actually connects the Negroes and the Jews and how this is all, it's all being exposed now. And I'm going to tell you this right now. They're so cool at saying, oh, they're the people of the Bible, but never do they even consider what we've been through and are still going through 500 years in a continent that they're not from. But yet they can sit here and say in our face, this is their soap opera. Let's find out who they really are.
Come on, fam. All praises, man. All praises. Hope y'all doing well. Shalom, shalom. Good to see y'all here on a Friday again. Appreciate you here, whoever you are. I see Rick, my brother. Shalom. Solomé, ¿qué hubo, hermano? These are my hermanos mayores right here, bro. Yo, what up? What up, Chris? Good to have you here, bro. I'm playing I did a compilation of videos and shit, and I'm showing one that we had talked about. I had said why they want to steal our history. It's because they're finding out that the shit that they were told was a complete lie. Everything, including this particular part. Praises for you guys appreciating and taking the time to listen to me. And whoever you are that's hiding behind the curtains. Today, family, it's going to be, well, I think every class is important, right? But today is going to be, all praises to the Most High, man. I appreciate the Father for what he does. I mean, it's amazing. You know, my wife and I were talking about this before I start the class. First of all, I want to thank the Father more than anything, right, for making this happen. More than anything. For allowing this class, this channel to continue for us, and, you know, Lord willing, we still get edified. So that first and foremost, all right? And for the understanding of the Messiah, of what he did for us, to open up the actual doors to wisdom, because we were lacking it, quite frankly. Just sticking to the Old Testament, we were lacking it. Anyhow, so with all that said, I was having a conversation with my wife, and, you know, we've come a long way, man. This life has been a movie, and that's why I'm so impressed, but at the same time, I'm not, of how the Most High works. So anyways, without further ado, let's see who's here. Oh, that's right. Give me a second. So what I'm gonna do, fam, is I'm gonna post a link, okay? But I would appreciate it if you guys wait a little bit, and I'll post it later too. I want to get into the class because it's going to be. I don't believe anybody, and I don't want to take credit for it. I'm not saying it in that way, but I don't think anyone has ever touched on this the way I'm gonna do it. I don't think they even consider it, because this is going to affect a lot of people. there are a lot of people out here that have fallen into the propaganda of the beast. This is an amazing beast that we live among. And let me start off the scripture with this. Let me start the class with this word, with this verse, okay? So Habakkuk 1:5, it says, "Behold ye among the heathen, and regard," he's talking to Israel, "and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told to you." It says, "Then the Lord said to his people, keep watching the nations around you," right? Look at what they're doing. "And you will be astonished at what you see." Remember, family, that okay, so I'm gonna pause for a second. I want to say something before I continue. Let me highlight this. I've come to realize, fam, that no matter what we do, right? No matter what class we bring, we are never going to achieve it with one video. This is a big animal, a huge beast that we're fighting against. And quite frankly, after you see this today, you're going to know that everything is a lie. You're going to have to question everything now from this point moving forward, because I've sent enough classes to give you guys enough hints of who these people are. And I was amazed by what I saw. So let's continue. So this is for the sheep that hear my voice. You understand that? For the sheep that hear my voice, they're going to understand what I'm going to share today. Now, family, we're at the stage of repentance. Unlike what everybody's asking for, we're not in that moment. We are in the stage of repentance. Whatever we do, that is our focus. Watch this. Let's continue. It says, and you, okay, it goes. Then the Lord said to his people, keep watching the nations around you, and you will be astonished at what you see. I'm going to do something that you will not believe when you hear about it. So you're like, when you read that scripture, you don't think much of it. Like, well, what's going to be, huh? What can be so surprising that we haven't seen? Let me go to Sirach 19. Let's start the class. All right. Sirach 19. I'm going to go through scriptures and I'm going to show you guys something and bring some books out. Sirach 19:18. Let's go to Sirach 19:18 and it reads like this. It says, first of all, so I want to make sure I present this to you guys first, all right? The understanding of the scriptures do not come without this verse. Sirach 19:18. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him. It's that easy. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him. And wisdom obtained his love. Now, remember what it says, the fear is the first step. So if you don't understand what fear I'm talking about, then it's going to go over your head. Because that's exactly what I think is happening, family. No matter what we present, even if it's plainly clear to them, they don't care. There's a bigger agenda going on, fam. Yeah, even the demons tremble. Man, there's a bigger agenda going on. So what our job is to continue to push and beg for salvation, quite frankly, because I'm blown away by what I found. And I'm not hyping it up, fam. I'm out of words for this. So I'm kind of looking forward to this class. I was looking forward to it most of the week because I wanted to start early, but the Most High is like, nah, man, let it meditate. And I got more information as I was waiting. So Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 9. So keep this in mind, family. The fear of the Lord is the first step, okay, to be accepted of him. And then wisdom comes in. All right. So keep that in mind. So it says here, Jeremiah 1:8. Watch this. Be not afraid of their faces. Oh, no, hold on. Yeah. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith the Lord. So let me read this again. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith the Lord. Then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And the Lord said unto me, behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down and to build and to plant. You see, this isn't a physical, actual process. This is all mental, family. This is all spiritual right here, what I'm talking about. Okay? Because there's nothing that's going to allow me to help you pull these things down. Our physical powers are not going to be possible in this situation, this captivity that we're in. Let me pause that for a moment. I want to show you something real quick. I don't want to forget that part where it ended at plant. Okay, that's important because if you read Hosea 10, chapter 10, pay attention to what he's talking about. I was watching a live earlier, brother, and he was talking about how our people, because of slavery, you know, the mentality, they have that slave mentality, right? And he had mentioned something about like how a tree, you know, replanting or like, you know, like basically planting a tree or something to that effect. And it reminded me as I had made a comment, but now that I'm reading, or we're reading this other verse, it connects me back to what it's actually talking about. Watch this, Hosea 10 and 10. Hosea or Hosea or Yahushua, okay? Or Hosea, I think, hold on, let me not go there. Let me just read this. It is my desire that I should chastise them, and that the people shall be gathered against them, the enemy, when they shall bind themselves in their two furrows. So it's talking about two nations, like the north and the south, right? Two kingdoms coming back together, all right? Binding ourselves in two furrows. Now, in case you guys don't know what furrows are, if you go harvesting, you got to break the ground, and that thing that plows creates like a V shape on the ground. That's what the seed goes into, right? Then it says, it is my desire that I should chastise them, and the people shall be gathered against them. So this gathering against us, like what's going on right now, with what you see in the streets, like our gente being treated like shit, that should be gathering to us together. When they shall bind themselves in their two furrows, coming together. And Ephraim is a heifer that is taught and loveth to tread out the corn, which is the northern kingdom. But I passed over her fair neck, and I will make Ephraim to ride, and Judah shall plow, southern kingdom. And Jacob, meaning together, they shall break his clods. In case you guys don't know, clods is like that clay matter, that rocks that are underneath the dirt. So if you want to actually plant a tree and you want it to root really well, you got to get rid of that shit. And that's what it's talking about. And the clods are everything that we've been experiencing since 1492. Color, religion, oppression, government, whatever the hell it is. Capitalism. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. Specifically, though, I'll be telling you, the belief in this religion that Jesus and the Virgin Mary and all this, nah, bro, that's the biggest clods that are in our heads. Then it says, sow yourselves into righteousness. Remember earlier the other verse? Talked about plant. Sow yourselves in righteousness. Meaning when you break the clods and you make a good ground and that ground is ready to be, fertile, sow, meaning, throw the seeds out, right? But do it in righteousness. Reap in mercy. Benefit from the mercy that the Creator has given you. And break up the fallow ground, meaning the dry, broken ground. For it is time to seek the Lord till he come and rain righteousness upon you. And that rain is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Love for you, brethren. Understanding of these scriptures where you don't get manipulated by somebody saying, John 3:16, brother. God love everybody, brother. It don't matter what Jesus they give you. It doesn't matter at that point. If they're teaching you complete bogus bullshit, what are you going to do? This is where you have to sow yourselves together. Now, when it says sow yourselves together is meaning our people together, unity. It's telling us here right now to come together. For example, in California, you have like the norteños and sureños. The Bible is basically saying you guys got to come together, bro. Stop the cap. Stop the bullshit. Nah, I don't, you got to just get rid of all that wickedness that y'all doing. But it's basically like that. We must come together because this pain is happening to both of us. They're not just deporting our gente like that, they're putting fucking, they're arresting like so-called Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is the time where you have to fucking understand why it's going on. Why did this happen? It says, ye have plowed wickedness. Everything that we harvested was never fruitful. Ye have reaped iniquity. So like you plant a dirty tree, it's going to give you dirty fruit. Ye have eaten the fruit of lies. Because thou didst trust in thy way, meaning you trusted yourself. In the multitude of thy mighty men. You followed leaders that did not teach you properly. Do you understand why it says, break up the fallow ground, come together, together we'll plow, together we'll break the clods, together sow ourselves in righteousness, together we'll reap in mercy, together coming together. That's a fucking biggest, most important thing that the Most High is asking for. Gosh, man, the 10 Commandments is basically about that. The first 4 is about you and the Creator. The last 6 is about us. How difficult is that? It shouldn't be difficult at all, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should not be. It's gonna be tough, fam. We go to Ephesians 6. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. Because this is the bottom line. And I mean, you know, when you read this scripture, there's one thing of reading it. There's one thing of like, you know, chewing on it, meditating on it. But there's another thing when you actually see it. Like when the Most High presents all the sufficient empirical data, they say, to prove that it is really what Habakkuk 1:5 says. Like, you're going to be amazed at what you're going to find. That's why Ephesians 6:11 says, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able. Let me see, did I go to 10? Nah. Well, I actually should have started at 12. Now let's start at 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Which wiles? Not actual one-on-ones, not physical ones, family. This is beyond what you're going to believe in. I mean, beyond what we understood. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Now, this to me, family, when I found out about this so-called letter, I knew at this moment that this really is what it meant. This is what it really means. It's what it really, really means. So you have to put on the whole armor, first of all, and I mean everything, fam. And the armor is the scriptures. Don't get that wrong. The armor is the scriptures, the history of the Bible. You're supposed to put fear before anything, so then the wisdom comes in. And this is how you put on the whole armor, because we're not gonna, man. We're already wrestling with principalities and powers. We're already doing that. And a lot of you guys have no clue that you're doing it already, that you're doing it. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. Remember, family, sometimes you got to look at these things in parables, right? So the Most High sees one day for us, 1,000 years, one day for him. Not necessarily saying it in this sense here, but you got to be mindful of it. That ye may be able to withstand the evil day, having done all to stand. Let me see, Psalms 91. Do you have a verse for that, bro? If you do, because I can't read the whole chapter. Let me see, Psalms 91. My refuge. Oh, yeah, you're right. You know what? Let me save that for last. I'll save it for last, man. I'll save it for last. Let me see if I can remember, okay? If I have time, I'll save it for last. Let me see. That's actually a good chapter, too. All right? I'll praise it, bro. But let me go back to where I was at. Yeah, because that may not keep me where I need to go. But I appreciate you. Give me a second. Ephesians 6. All right? It says here, verse 13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all to stand. That's why, and I'm going to continue. Look, it says, stand therefore having your loins girt about with truth, meaning your belly, right? Like you wrap yourself around like a belt, for so to speak. Having your loins girt about with truth, meaning you are completely armored with just scriptures, history, understanding, wisdom, how to deal with people, how to deal with yourself. Just overall, family, having your loins girt up about the truth, meaning the scriptures, and having the breastplate of righteousness, the actual laws. This is what's going to protect you against what we're going to be facing, what we're facing right now. Man, give me. I'm talking a little soft because I believe there's a lot of noise outside, so I don't want to create more noise. Okay. 2 Corinthians 10:4, it says, "For the weapons of warfare," here we see it again, "are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of the Messiah." So that's what I am trying to do, family. Let me read it again. "For the weapons of warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds." So now our job is to cast these imaginations down, no matter who it is, no matter who exalts themselves, regardless of it, and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God. Because we know damn well at this very moment that, well, me personally, and hopefully you see it after this class, that everything almost everything you're going to read is, you got to just watch out. I'm just going to let the class speak. "Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." All right. Now, let me get through these scriptures because I actually do have to read some material. And I'm going to try to finish this fast, man. I'm not going to be too long here, okay? Matthew 16:24, watch what it reads. "Then said Jesus unto his disciples," then said the Messiah unto his disciples, "If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." So keep that in mind, family. If you are really about this truth, you're going to have to dig deep into these things, and you're going to have to find stuff, and you're going to have to bring it to the light. And it's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. And maybe people will hate you. And I'm pretty sure they're going to, I'm pretty sure they're going to create a bunch of stuff if they get to see this. They're going to say I'm a liar and a racist, so to speak. 1 Corinthians 3:5, it says, "Who," now, the reason I'm going fast is because I want to get to the material, but I'm trying to give you guys scriptures to kind of get walk you with me, or have you walk with me. So it says here, 1 Corinthians 3:4, "For while one saith, I am Paul, and another, I am Apollos, are ye not carnal? Who then is Paul, and who is Apollos? But ministers by whom ye believe, even as the Lord gave to every man." Then Paul says, "I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase." So I'm going to show you guys today. I'm not here to make anybody believe, man. At all. At all. So now we're going to watch a video here real quick. Okay. Yeah, they hated him first. Watch this video real quick. We're going to start off.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce.
All right, so this video is about, 12 minutes, right? And we're not going to watch it all the way. We're going to watch it up to here. Okay? About a minute and 52. All right, so, sorry. This is a 12-minute video, but we're not going to watch the 12-minute video, okay? We're going to run for like about a minute and change. I want you guys to hear this message because it is as real as it gets, okay? Let's begin.
And the lie has, in fact, led us so far away from a normal society that you cannot even orient yourself any longer. In its dense, gray fog, not even one pillar can be seen. Lying has always been used for political purposes. Lies cover up corruption, past mistakes, and hidden motives, and they are an essential ingredient in political campaigning. Sometimes, however, political lies take on a much more sinister form. The lies become all-encompassing, embrace all aspects of life, and infect every corner of society. This occurrence is a sign that totalitarianism may be rising, for as the political philosopher Hannah Arendt noted, totalitarianism, at its essence, is an attempt at transforming reality into fiction. It is the attempt of corrupt and pathological state actors to impose a fictional account of the world onto the entire population. In Nazi Germany, it was the idea of a superior race and an unclean people that formed the big lie. In the Soviet Union, it was the belief that state communism could work and that all could be made equal. And from the big lie trickled down a stream of endless little lies. Referring to communist Russia, Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote, "In our country, the lie has become not just a moral category, but a pillar of the state." Describing Czechoslovakia under Soviet rule, Václav Havel similarly explained, "Life in the system is so thoroughly permeated with hypocrisy and lies. Because the regime is captive to its own lies, it must falsify everything. It falsifies the past, it falsifies the present, and it falsifies the future. It falsifies statistics."
Okay, fam. So, and again, you know what? I don't know if brothers understand how important this class is. I presented this and I sent the link to you, brothers, man. Honestly, if you guys aren't working, you should at least be listening because this is an important class, man. I don't know how to tell you this. Look, I brought this up because technically the system is this way. Life in the system is so thoroughly permeated with hypocrisy and lies because the regime is captive to its own lies. So once a liar, always a liar, right? And once you create a lie, you can't get around that lie. So then you create a bunch of other lies to make up that first lie. So then it just becomes a bunch of falsified information, just like it must falsify everything. It falsifies the past, it falsifies the present, and it falsifies the future. And it falsifies statistics. So now, why am I reading it falsifies the past, the present, and the future? Because that's what happens here. That's what exactly happened here, family. So let me show you this in case you guys forgot, and I might have not touched on it. But the class is called, let me see. Where are you at? Oh, that's right. Where did I put it? Thumbnail. Oh, that's right. I did it from the tablet. So the letter that never was, or I should say, the letter that is never real. The Willie Lynch letter. Family, I'm going to show you guys that this book is a blatant lie. This book right here, the Willie Lynch letter and Making of a Slave. They have lied to you, family. So in order to create a future, you got to create a past. And the only way to create a future in the past is by falsifying everything. Now, I know you guys are going to think I'm lying, but we're not. So let's go through this here. Watch this. I may get boring on you guys, but oh well. You either get it or you get it. You don't, man. I'm not here to convince anybody, bro. Straight up. Now at this point, it's really about that. It's no more. There's no need to beg you guys, man. There's no need to say, oh, you guys got to wake up to the truth. I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter to me anymore. You want to know why? Because it's either the Most High is calling your asses or he ain't calling you guys. Because quite frankly, that's what it comes down to, okay? That's what it really comes down to. There's nothing that there's not one class, family, that's going to convince people. Not one class. These people are done. They're I don't know. I don't think their spirit is going to be able to wake up from this. I don't believe so. I don't believe it, fam. We got family members in there, in these rooms, in these stupid cams, GMS, IYC, all of them use this book. Scholars use this book. Teachers use this book. Professors, movies, directors. I'm going to show you how this book is a lie. But first, let's go here, because I don't think you guys understand this. You see, the reason why I said this, how the Most High puts this walk, man, like, how did he know? Like, he knew, hey, listen, I want you to learn about this so that when you find it, it's going to be easy for you to understand. Well, when I was younger, I was a computer tech. I went to get certified in computer networking, okay? I didn't have no job. I didn't really have schooling. I just took a trade. Oh, your whole year. I got my cert. So check this out. I know this. Watch this. The web before the web. A look at Gopher. Now, I don't know if you guys who know what Gopher is or who Gopher is, but there's called the Gopher server, okay? So let's get a history here. Before the rapid growth of the World Wide Web in the 90s, a protocol called Gopher briefly made internet easy to use by combining the world's only resources. Here's what made it special and why it was quickly eclipsed by the web. What is a Gopher? Gopher is a client-server directory system that launched in 1991. Remember these days that I give you. It allowed people to quickly browse sources on the internet. When you use Gopher client, you would see a hierarchical menu of links that either led you to documents, television applications, FTP sites, or other Gopher servers. You could also search across Gopher space to find documents instead of hunting through FTP servers one by one. So for example, for you guys that know about archive.org, that's one example. This server, Gopher, would search through that site, other sites, several sites, and it was a network. So there's a hub, the Gopher, and then all of us would connect to this Gopher, and through our network would share files. You'd find files that I would upload. You'd find files that I would upload. Okay? So there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. Don't think that this is the reason I'm giving you an understanding of the root of this lie. Okay? So in 1990, this program was launched. A lot of you guys don't know about this, okay? That's how you get AOL and all that concept too. It came from these things, all right? It was a search engine in a sense. Now, a group of programmers, yada, 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 okay? So it was basically like, it looked like this, the Gopher client. It was the old DOS program. In case you guys remember this screen back in school, yeah, we are a little older. So you guys that are like in your 20s, 30s, you got no idea what the hell this is. So, you know, that's when you're out there so-called teaching and you think you know, shut up. You guys are kids. You guys don't know anything. I don't care what you guys think you know. You don't know. You don't know. And you're sitting here telling grown-ups that actually do study that you know more than them, yet we've lived longer than you. Just stupidity. Just because you memorize a couple of verses, whatever. DOS program, that's what it used to be, right? So anyhow, that's the server concept of the Gopher. So now, what does this have to do with the class? I'm going to show you something. So, and remember, family, the fear of the Lord is the first step for him to accept you and for him to bless you with wisdom, because that's really the bottom line. Now, here goes right here. And you guys can look up these links. I'm just showing you examples of what the Gopher is. Gopher was a competitor of the early World Wide Web, differing in a simpler, more structured interface. The flexibility of HTML, you guys are familiar with it, led to the World Wide Web eclipsing Gopher. And today, few people are aware of the Gopher even existed. Gopher, however, Gopher has not, however, entirely vanished, and over 100 Gopher servers will still provide access to blah, blah, blah. And here goes right here. So it's like you have to type in the ULR, the website that they have it. So you can look for statistics, development, blah, blah, blah. So this is what a server that was used at one point before the internet was launched fully, okay? Now, you guys are going to probably be confused by who had access to this. Well, guess what? There was only certain people that had access to this. Let me see this real quick. Not everybody did. Now, watch this real quick. Let me see if it's here. So now, let me see. Hold on. Give me a second. All right. So now, this Gopher thing, right? What does this Gopher have to do with the Willie Lynch letter? All right. So now let's read. This is what it has to do with the Willie Lynch letter, okay? It says the Willie Lynch letter, also known as the Willie Lynch speech, also known as the Willie Lynch letter, is an address purportedly can't even pronounce it. Purportedly delivered by the William Lynch or Willie Lynch to an audience on the banks of James River in Virginia of 1712. Now, you that have following this class, you guys understand, and hopefully you got eyes and you're starting to see these things like, James River, Virginia? Like King James? 1712. Regarding control of slaves with the colony in recent years, it has been widely exposed as a hoax. I wonder why. Watch this. The letter purports to the verbatim accounts of a short speech given by a slave owner in which he tells the other slave masters, hold on. Says which he tells other slave masters that he has discovered the secret, the controlling black slaves by setting them up against one another. The document has been printed since, watch this, the document has been in print since 1970, or at least 1970. Remember these years that I'm giving you guys, fam, okay? Remember these years. But first gained widespread notice in 1990s. I wonder why. When it appeared on the internet, which is private pathways. And if you read here, the Journal of American History, yada, 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 it talks about the Gopher server. The document has been in print, since then, it has often been promoted as an authentic account of slavery during the 18th century, though its inaccuracies and anachronisms have led historians to conclude that it is a hoax. Why is that, family? Why do you think they think that? Now, check this out. Forward attached to some online versions of the speech credit the narrator's name as a source of the term lynching and lynch laws. So they base lynching off these books, despite the narrator specifically advocating against lynching. So even in the book, it says, don't lynch these guys, but then they relate it to lynching. A man named Willie Lynch did indeed claim to have originated the term during the American Revolution War. But check this out. But he was born in 1742. The book was supposedly written in 1712. 30 years after the alleged delivery of the speech, a document published in the Southern Literary Messenger in 1836 that proposed William Lynch as the originator of the lynch law may have been a hoax perpetrated by Edgar Allan Poe. A better document, early use of the term lynch law, comes from Charles Lynch, a Virginia Justice of the Peace and Militia officer during the Revolutionary War. American Revolution, I'm sorry. Now, watch this, family. Who used this term? So, Nation of Islam, Farrakhan, quoted the speech in 1995, Million Man March. The speech was quoted during the first inauguration of George Bush. The speech, it was also quoted in the movie The Animal. The famous Great Debater. Type Kali, Exhibit, Kendrick Lamar, Raekwon, Nas, British rapper, Dirty Goods, Willie Lynch Theory, Berkeley rapper, Little B, hip-hop artist, Haiti One. Now, we got a little history of this whole thing, right? Let me show you something here. Why does this matter? Why does it matter, fam? Everything matters. If you're going to say that this is the purpose and the reason of slavery mentality, and you have professors, teachers, movie stars, movie directors, rappers, singers, schools, churches, camps, BHIs, Black Hebrew Israelites, FOPI, GMS, Nate the Snake, IUIC, ISUPK, all of them use this book Jim Crow Museum. You guys can look it up. jimcrowmuseum.ferez.edu. Okay? It's a good source. Is Willie Lynch letter real? If it is real, it's one of the most important documents related to African Americans. If it is real. The answer, there are many problems with this document, not the least of which is the fact that it's absolutely fake. I long ago stopped listening to sentences that began with the problem with black people is, and end with, and others with why black people can't get ahead now, and which partly explains my initial indifference to the now famous William Lynch speech. So I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to show you something else. In a few years since the speech on how to train slaves first appeared, it has been cited by countless college students. Okay? Countless college students and a black member of the House of Representatives. Along the way, becoming the essential verbal footnote in barbershop analysis of what's wrong with black people. The rapper Talib Kweli laments on the song Know That Blacks Are Dying, How to Make a Slave by Willie Lynch is still applying. One professor at a university at Midwestern University made the speech required reading for her class. And let me read that again. And one professor at a Midwestern University made the speech required reading for her class. Of late, the frequency of its citation seems to be increasing. At least some people have asked me about it in the last month. According to the speech preface, Master Lynch was concerned enough with the fortunes of his slaveholding brethren in American colonies to present a lecture on the banks of James River, explaining how to keep unruly servants disunited. The old argued should be pitted against young, the dark against the light, the male against the female, and so on. Such unifying tactics will control the slave for at least 300 years. He says, as a historian, I'm generally skeptical of smoking guns. Historical work, like forensic science, isn't some flashy field. It depends on painstaking aggregation of facts that leads to researchers to the most likely explanation, but rarely the only one. Now, excuse me, slavery was an incredible complex set of social, economic, and legal relations that literally boiled down to black and white. But given the variation of this size of farms, number of slaves workers, regions, crops grown, law, gender ratio, religion, and local economy, it is unlikely that a single letter could explain the slave policy for at least 151 years of the institution and its ramifications to the present day. Considering the limited number of exact sources of 18th century, if this speech has been discovered, it would have been the subject of incessant historical panels. Scholars it simply appeared on the internet. Listen, family, listen. And I know that maybe some of you guys don't understand the magnitude of this finding. But there's only, three people watching. 3 people watching, fam. Only 6 views. I've come to realize, and excuse my language, but you guys, and not the brothers that are watching, but you guys don't give a fuck about the Bible. Straight up. You guys don't care. You black Americans don't care about the Bible. You don't care about God. You are falling for this lie. You use this book. To confuse, to confound people, to get empathy for you. You guys knew better. This is your book, and you knew you found this information. See, black Americans, family, I'm sorry to tell you, you guys fucking knew what I found is true, but you guys never said anything. You so-called researchers, where are these researchers, family? Considering the limited number of extant sources from 18th century, if this speech had been discovered, it would have been the subject of incessant historical panels. They use it as tax write-off and to make money. Straight up. If this speech had been discovered, ma'am, I already told y'all. There's a link. There's a link. Somebody prove to me that I'm lying. Where are you guys at? I keep finding fake shit about you guys. I realize that all of this is a lie. We're not even, dude, we're like 50 minutes in and I'm probably halfway through. It says, if this speech had been discovered, here, let me do this, ma'am. Let me do this. Go, hold on, all right? Hold on. Give me a second. All right, here goes. So again, let's continue. It says, if it had been discovered, it would have been used in high debate. Hey, shalom, bro. It would have literally been a career-making find. But the letter was never discovered. Rather, it was simply appeared on the internet, bypassing, watch this, the official historical circuits and making its way directly into the canon of American racial conspiratoria. So remember the Gopher server, right? So apparently, at that time, there was a lot of people that with a PhD could have access to these servers. So at that time, people with PhDs, what they were doing was they were scanning like archives.org, right? They were scanning a bunch of material, a bunch of books, scanning them. And this librarian basically said that nobody really gave her the source of it, that the person didn't want to be exposed, or they just didn't have a source, but they uploaded it because she said in her mind, well, and this is facts, like you can look it up, and I think I'm gonna probably read it. Well, you know, it only seemed logical considering the state of the African Americans. In 1990, though, see, you guys don't forget, in 1990, so now, this so-called book, material, whatever, it was around 1970, okay? Supposedly, my camera died. Okay, cool, sounds good. It was around 1970, okay? And around 1970 is when you first hear it. And it became popular in 1990, but that's when you see the Gopher server. So somebody uploaded this material. Nobody knows where it came from. Now, they did say that it came from some particular area. But when you actually see the book for what it reads, and this is what caught my attention, fam, okay? Because I was going through some stuff. I ain't gonna lie. And I don't know, man. I ain't gonna lie. I almost picked up, okay? And, you know, the Most High had me in his plan this whole time. So I'm walking around in my living room, you know, I'm kind of stressing out. So I just grabbed this random book. You know, and it happened to be the Willie Lynch. And I haven't read that in a long time. And as I started reading it, I noticed certain things about this book. You see, fam, when you read often and you read a variety of books, you find out a different style of writing, the style of the century, it progressed. So as I'm reading this book, it's not making sense to me anymore because I'm like, wait a minute. I start catching names and dates and particular people. And then it's like, this is not making sense. And all of a sudden, I totally forgot about my urge to drink. But the Most High then started giving me some information. So let's read here. This is from .chnm.gmu.ed, okay? Digital history. All right, so we're going to read right here. So it says, some documents found on the web are, in fact, not real documents at all. At least 3 web pages promise the voice of Eugene Debs, but the recording is actually that of Leon Spencer, who recorded one of Debs' speeches around 1905. Now, More than 24 different websites offer versions of what they call the Willie Lynch speech of 1712. Remember, fam, 1970, remember that day. 1990, remember that day. 1712, remember this day, okay? In which British slave owners from the West Indies allegedly advised Virginia slave owners to control slaves through a strategy of divide and rule. Sometimes the sites add an introduction supposedly written by Frederick Douglass, but it was never confirmed. Others falsely describe Lynch as the source of the word lynching, despite the site's repeated assurance about the speech's authenticity. Internal evidence readily betrays its 20th century origins. Watch why. The language it incorporates. That's my point. When you're used to reading, you start catching these things. Now it says, to be sure, a careful search of the web also turns up evidence that the dubious origin of the Lynch speech, still, those sites that take the speech entirely at face value overwhelm the web source that dispute it. You see? Basically saying no matter what we bring to the table, they're telling us, no, you're a liar. I don't care. It's not true. No, that's not true. I don't care. I believe in the book. It's the Bible for them. This book is a Bible for the Black Americans. Okay? This is your Bible. You've used this book for 50, I don't know, I'm sorry, for 20 years or since the 30s. You publicize it with music, with movies, and no source has been confirmed. Then it says here, let's see, anyone who simply searches the Willie Lynch on the web would be more than 10 times likely to find evidence of the speech authenticity than information that casts doubt. But the web is a unique way it offers entry to the world of information and misinformation in which most people operate, and allows us to consider the significance and spread of such urban legends as the Willie Lynch speech.
Bruh.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Gotcha, bitch.
Which are originally transmitted as such an event as in the 1995 Million Man March or the 2001 inaugural I'm sorry, man. What is wrong with me? Inaugural protest. The web itself cannot be blamed for misinformation or misrepresentation. The Lynch speech, in fact, appeared in print as early as 1990. Appeared as early as 1990, okay? And it says, as early as where you at? There's 1990. The web increases our access to documents, information, both spurious and authentic, both better or worse. The virtual archives of the web distinguish itself from traditional libraries and archives by the discriminating inclusions of the best or worst that had been known and said. Despite the abundant misinformation available online, the internet is, somewhat paradoxically, a superb source for basic factual research, especially when used by those who are carefully to determine source quality. My own rendering of the Willie Lynch story comes entirely from research on its online sources. Although I have a substantial reference library at home, I now do most of my historical fact-checking on the web. I can find correct spellings, birthdays, battle death, and election results in online sources more quickly and more accurately than in most standard reference books. The key caveat, of course, is careful to determine source quality. But most professional historians, and probably most advanced history students, and most sophisticated general readers possess this skill. So if they possess this skill, why didn't they confirm it? Because look, fam, we know now this here. Okay? I read this to you guys before. This was uploaded in the Gopher server by some stranger. Nobody knows who. Okay? Where is it at? I had it here. Give me a second. A librarian to upload it. Well, I'll probably touch it eventually. Okay? So anyhow, but once hey, I just want to say shalom to my brother right here. Jeremias, buenos dias, brother. How you doing, man? I haven't called you, bro. I'm gonna give you a call this week coming up, okay? Dispensa, my friend. Hope you and your wife are doing well. Hope your kids are, grown kids and shit. You know what I'm saying, bro? I hope your sons are doing well. I hope your whole household is doing muy bien, señor. I'm glad to have you here, brother. Okay? Thank you for being here, bro. Good that you're still with us, man. You know what I'm saying? This brother works hella hard, bro. I got a lot of respect for him. Thank you for being here, brother. Let's go. This was uploaded in the server, and nobody knows who it's from. Nobody knows who the actual author is. Nobody really knows when it was really published, or nobody has the original of the 1712 book. Nobody. No one. Not a single soul. However, once this book came out of nowhere, only certain people got a hold of it. Remember, family, this is principalities and powers, man. Y'all got to start waking up in that way. Nation of Islam, Farrakhan, George Bush, Malcolm X, Denzel Washington, and then all these rappers. So I'm going to tell you something, fam. Who's in charge of the media? Who's in charge of these movies? Who writes these movies? Who puts them? And who's acting on these movies? I'm gonna give you one example, because look, man, you guys forget about the title in this class. Well, not the title, but the what I like to say. I may have to move this back and forth, but remember the title says facts tell, stories sell. Facts tell, stories sell. So whoever tells the best story usually gets away with the crime. Okay? Let's watch this, because this is where it's going out. I'm going to give you guys a little history, okay? So now we know that in 1990, this book came out of nowhere. It was used in 1970. All right? Supposedly written in 1712. Now, this person here, who he's acting like or as, is a Harvard professor in 1932. And he quotes this book in that movie, and they base this off a true story. The Great Debater, supposedly, is a true story. And they quote this book in this story, supposedly in 1932, but nobody ever heard of it until 1970, and it wasn't even really acknowledgeable until 1990. And then when we look in the book, you're going to find out that there's more discrepancies that makes you, things that make you go, But again, to me, now we know, family, you have to create a history to make y'all look like the people of the book. That's what you're doing, family. You are trying to make your history. You are creating your history as we move along. There's only two people here, two nations of people, family, that are claiming to be the Jews. Two nations of people. Nobody else. The so-called Israeli and the so-called black men of America. No one else is trying to do that. Let's watch.
Tell us about your father.
Why don't you tell us something about your father?
We're trying to get to know each other, Mr. Lowe.
I was trying to get to know you, Mr. Tolson.
Well, I'm not the one on the debate team.
Are we not engaged in a debate right now?
All right. I'll take the affirmative. Take the meanest, most restless nigger. Strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggers, female niggers, and nigger infants. Tar and feather him. Tie each leg to a horse facing in opposite direction, set him on fire, and beat both horses until they tear him apart in front of the male, female, and nigger infants. Bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger males within an inch of their life. Do not kill them, but put the fear of God in them, for they can be useful for future breeding. Anybody know who Willie Lynch was? Anybody? Raise your hand. No one? He was a vicious slave owner in the West Indies. The slave masters in the colony of Virginia were having trouble controlling their slaves, so they sent for Mr. Lynch to teach them his methods. The word lynching came from his last name. His methods were very simple, but they were diabolical. Keep the slave physically strong, but psychologically weak and dependent on the slave master. Keep the body, take the mind. I and every other professor on this campus are here to help you to find, take back, and keep your righteous mind. Because obviously you have lost it. That's all you need to know about me, Mr. Lowe.
So after this, well, not after this, but we see a lot of these movies being pushed. And you know, the Million Man March, the rap music, all these things, right? And you know, if you say it's so dramatic, it's believable. Facts tell, stories sell. Let's just listen to this one more time.
Direction, set him on fire, and beat both horses until they tear him apart in front of the male, female, and nigger infants.
Now, when you're listening to this, then you get all bubbly in your belly. And then you want to get all teary-eyed and shit. You know what I'm saying? See, now we have two people that left. Why? Bye. I'm not here to please everybody. Y'all going to end up hating me. I'd rather have you hate me. I'd rather have you hate me, but at least I know that I'm telling you the truth. Because you're not going to, this ain't just going to ignore me. I'm not just going to ignore it and not bring it to your attention because it falls on me. Knowing this, I pay for a lot of people because I know this. So I have to share it. So now you know this. So now you have to share it. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. So you guys that leave and say whatever, this and that, and buy and don't care about this, it's fine. I don't care anymore. I'm not here to, I never was here to convince y'all. I never came to this position to create some kind of a church or whatnot. No, the Most High said you gotta share what you know. Empathy is what is being created for y'all right now. Of course, if you create a history and then you go into the Bible and say this happened to us, it looks like it's a legitimate thing. Let's go.
Bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger males within an inch of their life. Do not kill them, but put the fear of God in them, for they can be useful for future breeding. Anybody know who Willie Lynch was? Anybody? Raise your hand. No one? He was a vicious slave owner in the West Indies.
All right, so now my question is, if this is 1932, how the hell does he get this book? 1932. The book was never known until 1970. And it came to the internet in 1990 and nobody knows where, how, why. Just like the actual website we were reading. This was such a great find. Why wasn't it publicized like then in 1712? This facts tell, stories sell, fam. Facts tell, stories sell. And I'm always going to say that. So this is a famous book. This is your famous book, Ak. Your famous book, Ak. Yeah, man. Yeah, the so-called white man put us in slavery. And the so-called white man's the one that, put the chains in our necks. And the so-called white man did all these things. And the so-called white man sent this Willie Lynch letter to other slave owners. And we're the people of the book because, look, only this happened to us. You guys are liars, man. Yo, straight up, fam. Let's just call it for what it is. You guys, you black Americans, you guys are effing liars. This is a fake book. You're gonna tell me it's not? Please come. Whoa, hold on. Wrong screen. Somebody come here and say that I'm lying. I'm allowing y'all to come on here and show me that I'm lying. I'm going to show you guys my points that I put them down. All right. So, there is here. Matter of fact, I wrote this down and I also copied and pasted a couple of info. So let me just read this, okay? Let me just show you guys real quick. Hold on a second. Before we start looking in this book, okay? So in this book, here's the things that I found that just seem very awkward to me, okay? So let me magnify it right here. All right. Choice of lexicon. One of the critical indicators of how untrue the Lynch letter has to do with lexicon choices. The period in view falls under the early 18th century, 1700, okay? And remember that year too, when it says 18th century, meaning in the 1700s, where the Elizabeth English was the prevalent manner of expression. But the choice of the words in Lynch's letter fit the 19th century modern English language. For example, the letter refers to what this is the first word that I was talking about, okay? It refers to foolproof, refueling, and indoctrination. But these words that were introduced into the American lexicon in the 20th century. Therefore, there is no way Lynch could be using those words in the 18th century. Refueling came in the English dictionary in 1811. Indoctrination shared its current connotation as used by Lynch in 1832. Remember, so the actual Lynch man was in 1832, but they're saying that he said this in 1712. Not 1712. All these occurred at least 1 century after the said speech was alleged giving. In the first paragraph, Lynch refers to the words program. That's another one, okay? Lynch promised that the ancient Rome will envy us if my program was implemented. And you see, family, when you read, right, and you start realizing that these things are not making sense. All right? Because the Most High has opened your eyes and he's opened my ears. He's opened my eyes and my ears. When I read this book, I saw right through it. Then it says, indoctrination shared its current connotation as used by Lynch in 1832, not in 1712. All these occurred at least 1 century after the said speech was alleged given. The link is up. The link is there. One West, IUIC, GMS, FOPI, anybody, please. The link is up. You guys are welcome to come and tell me that I'm wrong and that you have the source that says the Willie Lynch letter is a legitimate story, because I call bullshit on it. Okay? I'm waiting. Then it says in the first paragraph, Lynch referred to the word program. See, so to me, I know this word because it's used a lot in the old industry I was in computer tech. Lynch promised that ancient Rome would envy us if my program was implemented. As at the time it was allegedly used, the term referred to a written notice used during the theater event. It took until 1837 for program to take on the meaning ascribed to it today. Hold on.
Gotcha, bitch.
Hold on.
Gotcha, bitch.
Hey, Nate.
Gotcha, bitch.
Hey, IUIC.
Gotcha, bitch.
Hey, I used to be K.
Gotcha, bitch.
Sakari.
Gotcha, bitch.
GMS.
Gotcha, bitch.
I post on your channels and you guys don't come and tell me anything. I want you to tell me that I'm wrong, because honestly, if I am, please let us know. Because there's brothers here that really do listen and they want to know. If I'm wrong, then let us know. But so far, no good. In the third paragraph, Lynch used the word outline in the phrase, give an outline of action. Although the word outline existed barely 5 decades to the time of the event, the meaning was not the same. The word had no relation to steps to follow, but concerns making a sketch. The current definition of outline came into existence in 1759.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
And that's not even it, fam. Because I went back and I started reading it again. And I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds good. Started reading it again. So now I'm going to show you something real quick before I continue with the class. So let's start dissecting this a little bit. And I'll go real quick just to show you. Now, you know in my classes that I provide everything, every documentation. So the first thing about this letter is the date. The first Africans in America arrived through Jamestown, Virginia, 1619. Lie. You guys came with the white conquistadors as indentured labor or servant. That is true. But check this out. Now, watch what it says, all right? So I need you to pay attention to this, family. Watch how it's put together because it misleads you right off the bat. It says, so I'm going to read it and I'll read the next page and I'm going to show you something important. The first, because we know so far, 1712, lie. 1970 is when it first came up. It was really coined around that time. It was pushed in 1990. They made a movie in 2005 about supposedly that this was real, that the guy and the professor in Harvard, for that matter, they tainted Harvard now. Harvard, now you have to represent your name because what you're saying, Harvard, is that you could confirm the source. Harvard University is now, you guys, I'm telling you, fam, this, I'm going to take this far, okay? Because Harvard University allowed this to be promoted. But it says here, the first Africans in America arrived through Jamestown, Virginia, 1619 as indentured labor servants. Check this, from 1619 to 1640, the law throughout Europe and the Americas removed all human individuality from abducted Africans and named them property. Watch this. Now, we know from the gift, Africa's gift to America, that up until 1670, they were being released. African Americans, Black Americans were being released as indentured servants, the ones that were serving. But we know that even since the 1492, you guys were enslaving our people. You were part of the conquistadors. Yes, Black conquistadors, just like white conquistadors. You see, that's the history that's not being told. So this whole nonsense about, no, that's a lie. But now here's my point. He says between 1619 and 1640, right? So remember, it continues. It's a paragraph. This is a paragraph, okay? He's continuing in thought. Then it says, the U.S. Supreme Court and Chief Justice like Roger B. Taney instituted that the law did not protect slaves, but embowed their white oppressors who physically, mentally, and psychologically abused them with full supremacy. First of all, I'm going to already tackle two things here. No Negro, whether slave or free, could even be considered a citizen of the United States, the Honorable Judge wrote. Then he continues in 1640. Maryland became the first colony, yada, yada, yada. So if you read this first page and second page, you're thinking he's talking about the period of 1619 and 1640, correct? Am I wrong or right, fam? Please, somebody respond. Just say yes or no. Is he referencing the years between 1619 and 1640? Yes or no? I'm going to go back. From 1619 to 1640, the laws throughout Europe and the American removed all human individuality from abducted Africans and named them property, right? Then he skips this and then says 1640. Okay, so now check this out. The first things first. I'm going to tackle this one. But embowed their white oppressors who physically, mentally, and psychologically abused them. This is in 1712. Let me show you something. Hold on, let me show you something. Watch this, okay? Oh, no, I know where. Oh, no. Oh, that's right. I texted to myself. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Give me a second, fam. Hold up. Wait up. Where are you at? Where's my link, Ak? Where's my link, Ak? Oh, I didn't send me my link? Thought I did. Let's see if I can find it. When was psychology? Look, watch this. Psychology is defined as a scientific study of behavior and mental process. The philosophical interest in the human mind, right, regarding urge or whatever. Psychology is a field of experimental study began in 1854. For God's sakes, man, come on, bro. In 1864, the even consideration of psychology. If you look through, 1752, 1783, 1890. There is no date, no time. And if you look at the actual, watch this. Here it goes right here. 1828, Webster's Dictionary. Watch this. Psychology. Give me a second. I think that no, physics. No, hold on a second. How do you spell psychology shit, man? Let's see. That's what happens when you go to school, fam. Psychology. Is that how you spell it? Psychology coined. Yep. Look at this. Psychology, a discourse and treatise of human soul, or the doctrine of the nature and properties of the soul. In this time, they would have not known what psychologically means. So now that's one. So now let's look at this. He's referencing 1619 to 1640. The U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice Roger Taney. Okay, so he uses this guy. Let's look up who this guy is. Roger B. Taney. Roger B. Taney. There you have it, family. He quotes, so a book that's written in 1712 quotes a Chief Justice man that wasn't born until 1777? Come on, man. Isaiah chapter 58. Quiet. Then it was in 1836 that he first held office. He died in 1864. So what is a book in 1712 doing? Or what is a man in 1712 doing in a book from the 1700s or 1800s, fam? The U.S. Supreme Court and Chief Justice like Roger B. Taney ensued that the law did not protect slaves. Then he goes in 1640. Now we look into the actual book, and it gets even worse. See, it talks about ancient Rome would envy us if my program was implemented right off the bat. Hold on. I circled a few things. First of all, this work here, hostages, is not used at that time. It was hostage, never with an S. Automatic, there was no such thing as automatic, okay? No such thing as fucking automatic, man. Excuse my language. It's starting to piss me off. There's no such thing as automatic. Now we go to the actual letter itself. It says, James River, in the year of our Lord, 1712. Now, we know that King James was a black man, right? And he passed laws in Virginia. And he chartered the Virginia Dutch colony that enslaved people. Telling me, this is what you're telling me a white man gave honor to him? That's what this is saying. Colony of Virginia, remember Virginia, the Old Dominion? So now look, they put these pictures. Oh, poor me. There it goes right here. Look, when ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. There's no such thing as a program in that time. Then it says here, illustrious king whose version of the Bible we cherish. You think a white man would have cherished a black man Bible? Family, let's be real. You got to start asking yourself things that make you go, Things that make you go, Now let's scroll down over here. He goes here. In my bag here, I have a full proof. There's no such thing as full proof in 1712. And neither was black. Say Negro. If you look through this book, let's check it here. Let's check it here. Let's check it here. Can't believe it, man. Y'all letting the beaner destroy your doctrine. Look at this right here. All right. Comprehensive. For God's sakes, man. For God's sakes, man. Comprehensive. Let's see if it even is coined in 1828. Stop. Comprehensive. Comprehensive, right? Comprehensive. First used. Comprehensive definition, meaning. Let me see if I can find that link, man. I had the link. I don't like this. I thought I sent it to myself. Get away. Get away. Hold on. Hold on, fam. I think I texted to my wife, maybe. Oh, here it goes. That's why. There we go. Okay. There we go. Give me a second, fam. Okay. So now we're going to look at the etymology of the words. Okay. So comprehensive. Comprehensive. In the 1610s, but it wasn't used in that way. It was a French word. If you look at these things, wasn't never used at that time, fam. Full proof. Comprehensive. Where are you at? Where else? Where did we leave off? All right. And then check this out. Psychologically, that word is not used. So it says here that this man, both horse and nigger, and by the way, this word is not even used at that time. Watch this. Right? Right, because it's not even in existence, family. Both horse and niggers. It's not in existence. You got niggard. That's it. That's all. Niggardy, niggardly, niggardish, niggardice, niggardlessly, but not this word. Shoot, not even that word. Hey, not even this word. Not even this word. Or this word, or this word, or this word. No, these words were not in existence in 1712. But he continues, both must be broken and tied together for orderly production, for orderly future. Special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest, blah, 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 blah. As you read this book, you are psychologically being already molested, family. You are literally being molested into believing that this is true. And it's not. Far from it. Watch this. Psychologically, which was not even talked about at that time. Watch this. Okay, now I know how to spell it, bastard. Psy. Go. Oh, wait, no. I think it's an H, right? Is that an H? Oh, P-S-Y-C. P-S-Y-C-H. Look. Psychologically. It's not in existence. Psychological, right? Not even that one. Somebody please. Hey, Fopi. One West. Somebody please stop me. Please, somebody stop me. Somebody stop me. Then it says psychological and physical instructions of containment must be created for both. We hold the sixth cardinal as truth to the self-evident based upon the following discourse concerning the economics of breaking and tying the horse and the nigger. That word was not in existence. N-I-G-G-E-R was not in existence in 1712 because it wasn't in existence in 1828. So it says, together, all inclusive of the six principles laid down. Neither principle alone would suffice for good economics. All principles must be employed in orderly for good of the nation. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild natural nigger is dangerous even if captured. So this right here, keep the body and take the mind. Where you at, Denzel? Punk ass. You guys knew that this book was a lie. You guys knew the entire time this book was a fraud. Black Americans. Hey, Nate the Snake. See, this is now we know, family, that this is a whole made-up thing. These are not the people of the book. They need to create lies in order to fit prophecy. They are a self-made slave. You know what? Cayenne Pepper was right. Keep the body, take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Now the breaking process is the same for horse and the word that wasn't even used at that time. Pay little attention to the generation. Concentrate on future generations. Blah, blah, blah. Now they're talking about here, it's all saying that, okay, make sure that these people, right, they're uncivilized, put them against each other. You know what I'm saying? Put the white one against the black one and da-da-da-da. But all I see in these pictures, I don't even know how these pictures showed up, is blacks. I don't see no light skin at all. We here, family, now can say, and I know that the so-called white man is never going to bring this to you guys' attention. The so-called white man is going to keep their mouth shut and say, oh, no, you're probably right. No, I'm calling bullshit on your ass. Where are you? Where are you? BHIs, where are you? Family, post this link on your website. See, I want them to prove me wrong because I'm not done.
En la Plaza de Reyes, Black 50. Soplón. Yeah. ¿Qué vas a saber? ¿Qué vas a saber tú? Oye, chibolito, faltome. Pulpín de los pulpines, batería de Rapunzel, de rapeos, de raptos, de lagartos en cuartel. Cualquier la pega de cruel con un viejo coronel. Soy flojo, se me antojó dormirme en el laurel. Elevé mi level con un label y un Faber-Castell. Ya un papel, lo empape con sangre de todo aquel que se jura Nobel y no ve mis trenes en la riel. What's so man? ¿Por qué no sacan la tabua? Juro por mis aguas que no te hablo por las powers. Soy chinchado neto, búscame por Pico Sour y te voy a meter al centro loco como Beckenbauer. Escúchame atento mi pro, que estamos rompiéndole en pro. El negro de Plaza de Reyes como siempre rompe de este micrófono. Que quiere meterle como yo pero no puede meterle taco pron. Si te pensaba que solo era un gallo, déjame decirle que se equivocó. Real motherfucker feeling on the street. Es el Black Shit, Black Sea Mental de Plaza de Kings. Motherfucker, soplón.
Nero Luigi, man, desempeño en la victoria para que sepa. Incas Mo, Money Gang, gang, yeah, yeah, Yo también he llorado, gente. También me han desplazado por mi rasgo afrodescendiente. Sí, un perro no habla pero siente. Cuento historias callejeras pa' barrios de delincuentes. Soy un perro que te ladra, que te muerde y que te huele, nene. Soy más que Lene, ustedes para mí son pelele. Con mi jauría todo el día en busca de los cheles. Tengo un perro en fiscalía que nos mueve los papeles y otro en la comisaría para evitar el susto. Muchas veces me han llevado por solo como luzco. Perdón, madre mía, si yo le causé un disgusto, pero en esta vía yo crecí rodeado de perros chuscos. Yo sé que me quieren ganar, yo sé que me quieren tumbar y no pasará porque soy de verdad. Está súper rafina la Dodo Style, metido en latina aprendiendo un quizá. Yo tengo el style, no mido la raza del perro, yo mido por la lealtad y yo soy leal. Yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Yeah. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. Yeah. La calle limeña aquí nadie la dueña, ya nada es igual. Yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Tiene que respetar. Yeah. La calle te enseña lo que no te enseña la universidad. Yeah. Saliste ese peña aquí con una seña te tiran para atrás. Yeah. La calle limeña aquí nada le duele, ya nada es igual. Yeah. Tiene que respetar, yeah. Si yo soy tu papá, yeah, yeah, yeah. Cinco Mob, negro. Yeah, Cinco Mob, nigga. Yeah, Nero Luigi, man. Incas Mob, yeah. It's Money Gang, 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 yeah. Hey, yo. Yango en la maldita casa. Me llaman pa' que les dé al menos una vez al mes. Se metieron al lago y olvidaron que era el mes. For everybody bless. La fama es una puta, me está llamando a las 3. Dile que llame después de las 16 y 25. Volví de la infancia de Abraham Lincoln. Con fuerza ya inco, luchando para salir del rincón. Letra callejera en CD brinco. Under del under, puede que tu viejo te lo mande. Sale de vez en cuando como el cóndor por los Andes. Mi cuerpo no es de madera como Dande. Antes que me branden, yo
seré la ola que los expande. Aunque esto me pique en la madera, no sirven ni para romper el ticket de un evento afuera. Loco por la carrera, desafían la gravedad. Yo espero tras la barrera y llego con la novedad. Niña, tú solo espera que ya encontré la manera. He visto bastante por querer lograrlo saltando escalones dentro de la escalera. La vida me puso al depósito, yo soy de púlpito pa' que el mundo conociéramos de esta parte mejor intérprete capaz de esta cordillera. Sin luz afuera, que el espectáculo es dentro. La calle es mi templo, tiembla el pavimento. Cuando yo me concentro, mis disparos son temas. La calle un poema, se siente desde cuando entro. Y a toditos estos drogaditos que creen que rapean, los regreso al centro de mi balcón. Yo he visto el clown del clown en la misma gestión, pero a la malla no llega balón. Y para esta pantalla no sé qué patrón. Yo ya me sé la cuestión y doy fe por cada renglón. Consciente de la operación del final de Mbappé con la edad de bufón. Veían una maldita casa, plaza de rey y papá. El héroe Luigi Black mental, hip hop peruano, rasgo en la maldita base. Yao, yao, yao.
Yeah, man. Oh, respect and love from the world, nigga. Show them. Pew nigga on a microphone. Can't I sit the number for everything? Rock you in the studio. Bomba clap. ¿De qué manera sufre el alma cuando alguien se va? No hay medicina que cure esa larga enfermedad. La vitamina de la vida en esta sociedad es tan divina que por nombre tiene libertad. Libérate de la mentira que está por llegar. Mide tu orgullo antes de empezar a hablar. Cierra la puerta a quien no merezca entrar, porque hay mucho que se fue y sueña con regresar. Hablemos en silencio y así no me mentirás. El poder de la palabra muere cuando hablan de más. No me fío de oraciones que se dicen por detrás. Si me miras a los ojos no te mentiré jamás. Que besar por besar es jugar por jugar. Y vivir sin amor es vivir sin amar. Solo queda la fe, solo queda soñar. Ponte de pie, ready para luchar. Some love, I can just smoke and there are some love them. I can just smoke and there are some love. I remember no fire, no girl. Ribby day. Cali with a farmer soul, yeah. ¿De cuánto tiempo hablamos cuando hablamos de querer? Si la mitad lo malgastamos solo en comprender. ¿De qué manera es más fácil aprender? Que nacemos para ganar y morimos al perder. No puedo dejar de animarte, que cuando te caigas debes levantarte. Llegué para contarte que no todo artista muere por su arte. Traigo el honor de un humano con valor que utiliza poesía para respirar mejor. Escribo prosa para vengar al amor y recuerda aquella rosa que tiraron al contenedor. ¿Dónde se quedó el amor? Hey, ya no veas sitio, no microphone forever, never. Tell me, roll some love. I can just smoke and the light, some love them. I Rastafari my life, some love. I remember no fire, no burn. Ribby day. I live with a farmer soul, yeah. Reggae man a farmer warrior day. Not a really thing. Oh, yeah man. Si se piensa que la música es un juego, lo lleva claro, hermano. Desde España, internacional, bombo, clack, y Lego. Not so really easy. No. Pure nigga on a microphone. Hey, tell us any tree. Tell if I'm a rasta, feeling on my sin. Hey, more love.
la pared. El mismo que anda penando en el barrio no está tranquilo porque caminando con otro la ve. Por la que se mató sin pensarlo bien. ¿Y para dónde es que se va? Cuando por una tonta razón se van aquellos que más quieres. Pregunto para dónde irán. Es uno menos en el barrio y uno más para el recuerdo. De pocos a pocos mi gente se desvanece, pero casi siempre son los que no lo merecen. La muerte de un inocente lo sabe la gente, pero nadie dice que se lo llevó. Se rompió el corazón, lágrimas de madre, sangre en sus manos y no lo comprende el padre. Recuerda que la vida no tiene un valor y grita al cielo, mejor recógeme a mi Señor. Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, y es que el amor de ahora está presente. Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, y es que el amor de ahora está presente.
Dime dónde están los que desaparecieron, los que no volvieron, los que de uniforme se vistieron. ¿Dónde están los que ya no están del soldado Juan, que una bala traspasó su cuerpo con el ruido de una? Son historias como mi prima Gloria, que su cuerpo no aparece pero queda su memoria. Niña de 5 años que su aliento ya es agónico. Encuentra el cuerpo pero envuelto está en periódico. La vida es una tumba que la suerte te depara. La muerte está en la mano de aquel hombre que dispara. Padre que espera a su hijo que vive en la urbe, pero al día siguiente lo recogerá en la morgue. Se cuentan horas, días y también los calendarios. Primo, nadie sabe si caras en cementerios. Como mi amigo Mario que jugaba a ser sicario, hasta mató a su hermano y lo tomó como algo serio. Se cuentan horas, días y también las estadísticas. Para la policía un expediente más en balística. La lista aumenta y también el desenfreno. Como aquel niño que golpeado en el hogar se siente ajeno. Le pone freno y toma la decisión, sacando la pistola de su padre en el cajón. Su lápida ahora pinta: hijo mío, te queremos. Si la muerte nos permite, algún día nos veremos.
Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, y es que el amor de ahora está presente. Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, y es que el amor de ahora está presente. ¿Dónde van? ¿Dónde? Dime dónde van las almas que se pierden en el camino de la vida. ¿Dónde van? Dime dónde van. Se detienen pulsos, otros por impulsos para el diván. Penas que se cuentan en la esquina, cuidado con la neblina que la muerte se avecina por la acera. Joven estudiante muere en una balacera. Otro lío de pandillas que en el diario aparecerá. La vida se desaparece como el humo de un cigarro. Locos disparando desde un carro. Otra vida que se pierde bajo el cielo gris. No se puede ser feliz cuando gente muere en un desliz. Como Marco que soñaba con ser narco, viajar en barco y olvidarse de las penas en su cuarto. Pero cada vez que parcha ya se siente harto. Y su corazón marchito marcha para el infarto. Almas en oferta como Berta. Que se acuesta en una cama pero en otra se despierta. Son 14 años y ya perdió la niñez. Se desaparece un viernes y no regresa en 2 o 3. Coleccionando amores sin importancia a los rumores. Malos menores sin temores y sin valores. Deambulando en cada city, con el futuro a convertirse en un graffiti. Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, es que el amor de ahora está presente. Pase lo que pase hoy, siempre con la mente tu recuerdo en mi corazón te llevaré. Para donde quiera que yo voy, pienso diferente, es que el amor de ahora está presente.
Yo, comentando, ¿qué dicen? Sí, ¿qué cuentan? Ya, escúchame, ya, Los medios cuentan que si hay libertad de prensa, la mordaz es cosa escasa y todos dicen lo que piensan. Y esa sutil es impresa y repetida diariamente tiene contenta tu mente con yo soy combate y fiesta. Presta el control, Tarantino no es tan gore como los crímenes de amor que a toda hora se nos muestran. Pues tal vez la estrategia impuesta, pánico en el público y manejarás el cuesta pal. Político en vez de patrullas en vez de camilla para un hospital, como si esa mierda de tombo no diera seguridad. No será casualidad que el otro dueño del canal sea el cerro sobrino pero bueno de un primo hermano pariente papá. Que se nota el que no es noticia, su codicia se evidencia. Propicia violencia y plástico, panémicas, belleza. Fútbol, patriotismo, falso culo, vasos de cerveza. Pele cáncer pa' tu mesa y el domingo en misa pesa. Sobre su cabeza pesa el atraso mental del pueblo. Oposición vendió trasero, dictador, grupo Romero. Pero se confundieron, acá la palabra es cruda. Autoeducación en camino se afloja la lucha a través de cultura. Es como genera de uno, tal vez otro loco se suma. Ya saben, cortina de humo que explota la mina que mata la cuna. Primo, vengo que trate la friuna, no una pura canción de aventura. Así no censura, emite basura, no le conviene que sepan verdura. Hay extorsiones, violaciones, robo, llanto y más. Con tanto muerto el morbo están alimentando, ves no hay paz. Solo un odio contenido en bilis para que vivan en la fantasía algún día cambiará. Hay extorsiones, robo, violaciones, llanto y más. Con tanto muerto el morbo están alimentando, ves no hay paz. Solo un odio contenido en bilis para que vivan en la fantasía algún día cambiará.
Sensacionalismo, amigo eterno de la prensa, el mismo que forjó al humano sumiso, callado y muestra. En el noticiero, en el artículo del diario, la vida de una vez de que poco invierte
al vecindario.
Sirven como fieles feligreses a oscuro intereses, mienten todo el día, crían, crean solo estupideces. La historia afirma, indica que siempre negaron información alternativa que todo pueblo merece. A cada instante pareciera su labor asesinar una memoria colectiva que hace una nación, con una prensa cómplice que juega con humor, desconociendo ese dolor que nos dejó ese dictador. Cortina de humo es su mejor función, para apartarte de la fuente harán de todo, pues miró hoy como venderte el culo de Sharon Stone, cagándose en tu derecho a la objetiva información. El narco, el almirante, el presidente, el congresista, algún ministro, algún delegado, de seguro es el patrón de ese periódico morboso y amarillo que al leerlo 2 minutos te vuelve en un show. Los medios son culpables, responsables de toda propaganda basura que te ofrece la TV. Pues será mejor que se autoeduque, pues my friend, porque el comercio de los medios te carcome hasta las 100.
Hay violaciones, extorsiones, robo, llanto y más. Con tanto muerto el morbo están alimentando, ves no hay paz. Solo un odio contenido en bilis para que vivan en la fantasía algún día cambiará. Hay extorsiones, violaciones, robo, llanto y más. Con tanto muerto el morbo están alimentando, ves no hay paz. Solo un odio contenido en bilis para que vivan en la fantasía algún día cambiará. Que algún día cambiará. Que algún día cambiará. CPF.
Se ve tan mal cuando miras a otro lado, los fantasmas del pasado no se detendrán hasta verte derrumbado. Peores lo hemos pasado. Andaba a golpes con la tristeza, me aportó riqueza, me otorgó sabiduría, pues se dibujaba en todas mis piezas. Yo con alegría le daba color después. La aguja sigue girando, tiempo parece se burlar de mí. Dijo que sanaría esperando, pero creo que la espina aún sigue ahí. Con los dedos lo voy palpando, cierro los puños, escapa de aquí. Agonizando, no me espera el tiempo, no voy a esperar por ti.
Nuestras huellas en la orilla se han borrado por la marea. Si esas estrellas ya no brillan, las entiendo pa' que veas. Sea donde sea, bajo la tormenta o dentro de la odisea, donde arañas cubren el cielo de tela, los aviones nadan y los barcos vuelan. Aunque parezca que va bien, no sabes bien si va mal. Besos que pueden doler, ojos que pueden matar. Tengo mi alma en el almacén encerrada, mi corazón está en huelga, mis sentimientos en ámbar. Gente, Calamala dijo que estaría presente. Fallaron como nunca, se fueron pa' siempre. Millones de razones pa' vengarme, pero a veces duele más actuar indiferente.
suena mi tu. A mí la tengo solta fumando de su palulú. Ni un conjuro de grimorio me lo salva del velorio. Pa' tener pila valorio se matan vestidos de emporio. Yo no quiero una pistola, estoy soñando que la vida que quería me llega a tiempo. Desde que yo la vi sola, loco ando. Vino a verme cuando el sol se estaba poniendo y se dejó una pluma y se perdió en la bruma. Nunca se despidió de mí, ey. Nunca se despidió de mí, ey.
Vivo en un mundo que parece roto y sé que no, porque todo es perfecto y lo debo plasmar. Me fumo un trócolo tras otro y lo veo todo otro color. Me siento libre porque vuelvo a conectar. Mi gente sufre y no lo puedo evitar, más que dándole consejos siempre desde la humildad. Es su camino hacia la fraternidad. Solo puedo que enseñarles a respetar y amar. Con esta bendición, como no voy a aprovechar los códigos que llegan, los tenemos que aceptar. Si me reencarné fue para ayudar y no para malgastar mi tiempo en beneficio del mal. En la unión nace la fuerza y eso nos hace juntar las ganas que siempre tuvimos para iluminar a la gente que se le ocurra y la malla armonizar. Vinimos para dar fuego a la que no nos va a quemar.
Arda y por dentro la llama, no puedo contener la ras. Churruscao el corazón, el armazón no puede llegar a pesarme más. Si abro la boca, tu tumba al suelo, me muelo a diario y sobrado de gas. Escupo ristas perfectas, paladas de versos eternos, no mueren jamás. Cuando acabe mi condena, me vi muy solo y perdido. Cada vez más negra la flema, más elegante el problema, pero planté cara a todos mis enemigos. Recuperé las ganas, las fuerzas y el garbo. Dedico requiems a mis diablos, que aquí estoy vivo de milagro. Delicadas flores crecieron entre los cardos. Me dicen vienes más delgado que de costumbre. Será de tanto que he bailado en el alambre, que a tanta pena es mejor no ponerle nombre. Llevamos la música en vena, nuestra sangre.
Yeah, man, a real. This is the cipher dream. Ahora Babylon real. En esta ocasión traigo a los gangsters más gangsters de la zona. Y vengo con la familia again. ¿Cómo dice? Yeah, man, a real. Traigo el mensaje puro y crudo para el momento. No palabras vanas que rompen los sentimientos. Lucharé y derribaré los muros del lamento. Pídeme pues te daré los sueños que están muertos. Nunca el demonio dio mensajes de amor, pero tampoco los dio el ángel que nos abandona. Quizás miremos diferente el reloj, pero tu cielo es el infierno donde el amor murió. Political violence, criminal physical redemption hasta que acabe el baile. Typical style, musical fraile. Mucha es la promesa en la que se han llevado el aire. Love, love, love. Siente verdad como doy mi corazón. No more, no more, no more. It's a reggae cipher. Feed the world. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat. Throw the tangle in the street. Reggae music on the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Fue que me brotaron alas y ganas de volar. En las buenas mi terreno lleno, en las malas solar. Un muro que decorar, mis hermanos me sirven de guía, mi estrella polar. Guarda los hilos, me duele hasta respirar. Solo quiero ver verdad. Sigo buscándome lejos de lo que piensas. Más fácil de lo que crees, el esfuerzo trae recompensas. Vale la experiencia si es intensa, no tires de la cuerda si está tensa. Miraban al ocaso con tristeza, las estrellas devolvían con grandeza su mirar. Nos vimos floreciendo en la maleza, la belleza de las piezas y comienzan a encajar.
Es de reventar el beat, reggae music and the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat, reggae music and the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
51, 52, con un micro de bambú, más vuelta que Passepartout. Me siento en la old school. It's magnetic kung fu, it's a reggae magnatur. Por las almas sonrientes que acompañan a Zazú. En bambalinas y balú, son rimas de menú, no salidas de Benur, pero calidad y del sur. Homie, always lonely, but I feeling like a gangsta. 52, 53, a mí sí me ves venir, por eso me llaman King, ese fue mi devenir. De marchar o seguir, nunca tuve que elegir, la music me eligió a mí, no tengo nada más que decir. Saifa, Puniga, Loba, Grimble, Fire, Killaman, Smoker, Chusta, Feel Light, Rasta, Chai, Metal, Kimanes, Original Reggae, Saifa again.
Eterna guerra interna en la villa del pingüino, de los que alinean la antena y los que se encuentran dormidos zarandean tus emociones cual barril de vino, cosas feas quizás en tus ideas, pero aquí no, yo no atino, disparo sin mirar a todo aquel vampiro que el diente quiera hincarme, bro. Si lo digo, no es para pensar, sino para aclarar lo que de siempre estás pensando. Acaba el tan magnífico, imposible de torcer metal, soltar my friend, yo. Reggae warriors again, making connection after connection, my new world, creating the freedom from them, me more. Nanny boy, represent this game.
What time is it? Es de reventar el beat, jungle in the street, reggae music and the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat, jungle in the street, reggae music and the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Falta presentación si existe nivel. Sobreviviendo en Babilonia escribí al papel mis problemas cuando al final pude entender que para ser feliz solo tienes que querer, que solamente hay una vida y es para vivir. Busca siempre una alternativa para seguir, no dejes nunca que te digan que no es así, y prende un poco de sativa para estar chill. Ey, superando ansiedades con el humo de gancha, manchas de un pasado trágico en la cancha. Seguimos siendo fuertes, su mierda no me engancha, mientras otros esperando a que lleguen en lancha. No matter where you come, no matter where you come from, solo importa que prestes atención a este sound. Desde the original, Killaman al mando. Oh, na, na, na.
Mira, soy un warrior, sonido legendario. Disfruto cada segundo cuando me subo al escenario. Tengo fuego en los labios, sigo cual mercenario. Pasos de gigante y cora revolucionario. Siento que es necesario, suena el reggae en los barrios, para que cale el mensaje y para salvar a los más sabios. Entre en mi imaginario, quemo cheques bancarios. Si vienes con la mala vibra, mejor bro, cambia tu itinerario. Ya, 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 ya. Cuando ruge el león suena la música real. Venimos con el ya, 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 ya. Sonido de guión es el sonido original. Ya, 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 ya. Reggae de corazón es el que se hace en unidad. Ya, 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 ya.
What time is it? Es de reventar el beat, reggae music and the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí. What time is it? Es de reventar el beat, reggae music and the hit. Romperemos las barreras que crearon para ti, pues llegaron los señores y la paz de nuevo aquí.
Y va de nuevo mi tono. Mexicano bandido, todo el barrio prendido. Siempre ando bien cuido, siempre poniendo ruido. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, yo defiendo mi tierra. No me dejo de nadie, yo cuido a los míos. mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Me voy tendido, me voy empinando mi bote. Un poco mareado por la bebida y el borlote. Me tiene hasta la riata la gente con su mitote. Pero me despreocupo, me pelan todo el garrote. Me para la chota, ya es por mi apariencia. Que hay tantos delitos, que hay tanta demencia. Yo no cargo nada, no más mi presencia. Pinche puerco joto, atente a las consecuencias. Si no topa el poli en breve nos para en la calle. No puede salir uno conmigo porque ya hay detalle. No quiere que conteste, quiere que yo solo calle. Quiere mi dinero pero que chinga su madre. A la dica este sistema nos quieren ver abajo. Pero tumbar gente, quien les dijo que es trabajo. Puro chingar al indio, váyanse mucho al carajo. Loco no me rajo, lo bueno porque se armó la alianza más pesada del país. Todo el mundo ya conoce las rimas de estos MCs. Pa' ponerme más feliz, unos paisas de hachís. Mis paisas en el gabacho, bien truchas con la polis. Loco en Guanajuato, con los ojos bien tumbados. De coto con el quesada, rifando por todos lados. Atento si prendo un blunt en cabina cuando grabo. Represento Nuevo León, junto a mi carnal el Davo. Cuando voy pa' Jalisco, el pasado está olvidado. Con el perro de la C, bien grifo, pedo y enfiestado. Chécate mi banderón, unido como había soñado. Bien bajado ese balón, compa lefty bien bajado. Puro hip hop mexa, hasta que amanezca. Pásenme un mezcal y que no se apague la yesca. Ya saben que aquí andamos pilas pa' lo que se ofrezca. Si escribo estas rimas es pa' que se enorgullezca.
Verde marihuana, blanca cocaína, roja la sangre que escurre de una nueva herida. Yo salí de la ruina, nunca se me olvida. Con disciplina y respeto sigo en la movida. Ando bien high, la vida es un freestyle. Disfruta lo que hay, vivo entre el bien y el mal, carnal. Crazy life, todo el día viendo al aire. Pinto tu barda con spray, lo que canto es real. Azules y rojas las sirenas que me persiguen. No suben pa' la virgen, salen todos cuando chifle. Mi barrio no lo pisen, que andamos todos grises. Maldito policía, no quiero que me revises. Prende la mota en Canala o en Hitter. Ando con mi flota y el dealer. Tenemos lo que se te ofrezca, tú nada más pide. Me dijo mi madre que de la envidia me cuide.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Ya, ábranse cabrones, llegó el mexicano partiendo sin necesidad de palancas. Todos jugamos en la misma liga, yo soy titular, tú ves desde la banca. Disfruto cada cosa que me pasa, colaboro y mi carrera se levanta. El mismo cabrón que antes no tenía nada se la pasa viajando y dice que canta. Por eso me caga enfermarme de la garganta. Pero aguanta, traigo mata natural y humo de planta. 2, 3 cabrones dando lata y yo haciendo más plata. De esto la vida se trata y pa' que sepas no es barata. MC Davo los desbarata con cada escalón que sube. Yo tuve la suerte de hacerme fama en YouTube. Hay 2, 3 raperos de antaño que me bajé de su nube. Los mandé pa' su casa y de premio hasta les pagué el Uber. Si alguien me tira es porque sabe bien que domino el negocio y quiere de mi parte. No quiero darlas de grande, pero si me tiras la neta me toca humillarte. Soy capitán, llevo el estandarte. Somos muy pocos los que hacemos arte. Este flow si es de Marte, tú dale like y comparte.
México lindo y bandido, diario a Diosito le pido que me cuide a la familia si un día el cora ya no late. Estoy bendecido porque me cuidan los míos. Orgullosamente me exatamos locos de remate. Jaque mate, no hable de volar si viene gateando. La cosa por la frontera se pone violenta, no importa el rango. Toda la raza jalándole duro, si hay algo seguro es la muerte endondeando. Sudor y la sangre en la frente, los de alzada controlando. Se roban la atención, ya saben quiénes son. Vatos locos con sazón como el de un corridón. No quiera tomarme el pelo si ando todo pelón. Levantando la bandera, viva México cabrón.
Es el perrito de la bandera con un águila, Simón, mi tierra es esta. Me vale si mi piel o si mi acento les molesta. Acá jalan horas extras, nunca duermen la siesta. Están los que van pa'l jale y los que la viven de fiesta. Otros que en el pintón se tatúan de corazón. 3 colores en el pecho, morirían por su nación. Aunque su puto gobierno lo puso en la situación de no terminar la escuela y terminar
México ladrones. ¿Qué hubo les presidente? Ya saben que por mí policías chinguen a 20. Y ahí están mis 20 pa' la cagua. Agua, que es tierra caliente de Chiapas hasta Chihuahua. Wow, 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 yipi yo, yipi yucas. Buenas Montequín, Aguas, Tijuas y San Lucas. San Luis Potoyes, Mataulipas, La Puebluca. Dime si o no loco, acá tienen lo que buscas.
Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera. Soy mexicano, esa es mi bandera. Yo la levanto por donde quiera. Verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. El barrio prendido ya quemó afuera.
Puro hip hop mexa, perros, 2023.
Ey yo, ey yo.
Somos la santa carnal. Ey, ey, dale, los chidones de la plaza.
Oye, DJ donde que los scratches. Desde alzada, mi perro. No saben quién soy o sí. Oye.
Viva México, cabrones.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.